5 and 10 grand. You're going to get 10 grand max for that. 10% goes to the trainer, 25% goes to the manager. Then we've got the tax man to pay as well. So we're cutting that money in at least half. So now you've got 5 grand for a 10-week camp. So you're talking about a guy here earning, he might be clearing 500 quid a week. How do you support a family on that? So boxers chase the dream. And, you know, there's probably 2% of them that actually make it.
So say you do make it and you start to rise up the ranks. Strikers Boxing, a training academy, says the mid-tier fighters can earn more, somewhere between £10,000 and £50,000 a fight, depending on record, profile, opponent and popularity of weight class. It's only at the top level does the real cash start flowing in, with the top-tier professionals, i.e. those going for titles, earning 6 figures a fight. Something else you'll have heard of is the terms prize fighter or journeyman. A prize fighter is, as it sounds, someone who picks up fights where they can and gets a nice big check if they win. Journeymen are the fighters who take on up-and-comers, effectively used for experience in the ring. Even if they're going up against a real prospect, a young Anthony Joshua, for example, these guys will be lucky to earn more than 10 grand. So the average boxer isn't as rich as you'd think.
How are you? It's the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. My name's Shebahn Aherne alongside former Ireland striker Tony Cascarino.
Good morning.
The Carabao Cup has returned. Live football is back here on talkSPORT. West Ham began their season with a 3-1 win over Pompey.
The Hammers are happy on the opening weekend of the season. The final score at the London Stadium is West Ham 3, Portsmouth 1.
Wasn't it good to have live commentary back? Tonda Eckhart Southampton also got off to a winning start with a 2-0 victory at Colchester.
Here comes Southampton. Akachukwu is into the area, checks onto his left foot and scores! A brilliant moment for the young man. His first Southampton goal.
Yes, we'll review all the best bits from an action-packed day in the Carabao Cup first round. And in the boxing last night, Callum Simpson got his revenge, winning his British super middleweight title from Troy Williamson, and it was live here on talkSPORT.
Williamson knows he's in trouble. Simpson fights back, throws big right, big shots to the head. Williamson shots to the body, and what a fight, what a fight.
Absolutely bouncing in leads last night. We'll look back on all of that, plus all of the action from the Carabao Cup. You can have your say on your team and how things are looking for the season ahead. 03717 223344 is the number. 81089 if you want to send a text message to the Weekend Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT. Morning. Hiya.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Yeah, I'm really good. Really good.
Any events happened yesterday in your house?
Not really.
Quiet Saturday.
My grandson come round. He can't say please in Spanish. That's poor for four, isn't it?
Oh God, no! Because it's 4 minutes past 6 on a Sunday. You can't be going there so early.
I've nicked. There's a comedian called Mick Miller, and I nicked that joke because I really think it's funny. It's just a really clever joke. When you play with words, it's great. In jokes, do you know what I mean? Playing with words and just
4 for 4.
That's poor for four.
Because you can't really offend anyone with just.
Yeah, they're not offended.
No,
that's just real quick wit. That's
I
really
can
funny.
actually get my head round your goldfish joke yesterday. I told it to Jamie and he was like, I don't get it. And I was like, yeah, that's the one I struggled with as well.
How could you not get it?
So the joke was,
I was on the
got on a
bus.
bus and a woman says to you, do you have any pets?
Yeah.
And you said, I've got a goldfish. And she said, do you have any hobbies? And you said, swimming. Right?
Yeah.
So are you the goldfish?
Well, well, no, because well, think of what she said, right?
You got any pets? Yeah.
The woman, I get on the bus and the woman sits next to me and she says, have you got any pets? And you say, yeah, goldfish. And she says, hobbies? And you say, yeah, swimming.
Oh, as if
The goldfish.
I put in, have you got any hobbies?
Yeah, so you told the joke wrong.
So I've made, right, got you. Right, okay. Hobbies? It's totally different.
Yeah, exactly.
It's totally different. That is that dad joke of the year.
I know. But the first one is clever, isn't it? It's a clever joke.
No, I like that one.
I did. Plagiarism is everywhere with people stealing things. So I love, sometimes I'll go back and watch old comedians and how they told jokes. And some of them were just so clever.
I know.
You know, and Mick Miller is a very famous comedian who doesn't swear and he doesn't do anything, just keeps it clean and has got these incredible one-liners that come in every now and again.
But there are comedians, when they swear, they're funnier.
Yeah, of course.
And some people are really offended and offended by swearing, and I think some people use that language so well.
Yeah.
That it makes them funnier.
But it's really skillful if you can.
Yeah.
I mean, because Bob Monkhouse could do both. He famously was a stand-up comedian, but he could do vulgar and he could do clean.
How is Bob's health now?
Yeah, that was one of the funny ones. That was Alan, wasn't it? Alan Brazil.
Yeah, classic Brazil.
Yeah.
Good morning. How are you doing today? Don't be sending in your dad jokes. I will not be reading them out. Do not you dare. Only one place to start with. The Carabao Cup first round well and truly underway, and we had it live for you here on the talkSPORT network.
It's Derby 1, Lincoln 2. So Derby have got themselves a foothold in this game. It's been scored by Sammy Smodic.
Swansea 0, Birmingham City 1. It was a low cross into the box by Carlos Vicente, finding August Christ. He backheeled the ball into the opposite corner of the keeper's net.
Right edge of the penalty area, early cross, and the header is put away by Tati Castellanos.
Cardiff 3, Swindon 2, Cardiff back in front, and it is the big new signing, Jack Moylan.
It's Sheffield Wednesday 1, Bolton Wanderers 0. Bolton down to 10 men and have been punished by Jamal Lowe's goal.
Burton 1, Blackburn Rovers 2, and it's Jayden Fevrier off the bench on debut for Blackburn Rovers.
Preston 1, Huddersfield 1 in 90 minutes, and Preston win 4-3 on penalties. And it's Bergsorg who's also scored Preston's decisive goal in the penalty shootout.
8 minutes to go. It's Stoke 2, Oldham 0. Two substitutes combining. Robert Bosenic, played through by Bae Jun-ho. Watford 1, Crawley 0. An absolute screamer by Mark Boller.
Right-footed, Belshaw went the right way but couldn't quite get there. And Walker celebrates in front of the Burnley fans over in that left corner.
Kachukwu is into the area, checks onto his left foot and scores! A brilliant moment for the young man, and that sends Southampton through to round 2 without any question at all.
Carabao Cup first round action yesterday live here on talkSPORT, just easing us nicely back into the live football. Here's some big results. Birmingham were away at Swansea and they got a 1-0 win. Burnley through on penalties after a draw with Notts County. Leicester beat Northampton 1-0, winning start for Russell Martin, much needed there for Leicester. And Millwall through on penalties against QPR. And Cass, in that game, the 4 penalty saves in the shootout for the Millwall keeper.
Yeah.
What a start to your season.
Yeah, Lucas Jensen. Yeah, I mean, I've never heard of that. Don't know. I've never heard of a goalkeeper save the first 4 penalties. I mean, someone might tell me different.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the worst penalty shootout I ever saw was in the 2002 World Cup was Ireland versus Spain, which Ireland lost. So that was a dreadful. So many penalties were missed in that. But to save 4 on the spin, it's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it was always going to be that sort of tricky game, QPR and the Carabao Cup. And to be fair, there was 5 penalty shootouts in nearly 30 games in the Carabao Cup. So, there was a few of them.
Yeah. We had the commentary yesterday of the West Ham Pompey game from the London Stadium on talkSPORT 2. And it's one of those situations where obviously the focus has to be the league. You want to be back up in the Premier League.
Yeah.
That'll be West Ham's focus. And my neighbour Steve, bless him, I mean, he's a West Ham fan, and he's had a rubbish time of late. And I saw him yesterday and he was like, it's just the cup. Shebahn, it's just the cup. And I'm like, would you not be wanting to kind of go on a run though this season if you are in the Championship? And I know that's going to take a lot of your energy, more games, unrelenting league, but to want at the start of the season to win silverware?
Yeah, I mean, look, that's a long way off, and their priority is going to be promotion. But there was 50-odd thousand who turned up yesterday. Now, a large portion of them were Portsmouth fans who made the journey from the South Coast. But to get 50-odd thousand in for a game, it's pretty huge. And luckily, I mean, I know they lowered ticket pricing at West Ham, which was a great thing to do. I think it's the best, you know, in the early rounds of the Cup where you're not going to get sellout crowds generally across the board, you know, but you want a healthy attendance to make the atmosphere and make it a game. I thought West Ham did that well yesterday.
Well, Nuno thanked the fans after the game for their continued support.
Expectation was high in the beginning. Full house, like you said, is the record of the Carabao Cup in the first game. Portsmouth also bringing a lot of fans. We cannot thank them enough.
Nuno Espirito Santo, the West Ham manager there, speaking after the game. Just great to have football back. And going back home on a train yesterday from work, and you're seeing everybody back in their shirts and heading out and about, and just that little bit of buzz, you know, we've needed it back, you know, just the sunshine.
What about the centre forward, Castellanos, right? Tati.
Tati Castellanos! Great name.
You know, what an advantage for West Ham, who can go and spend, you know, and it is for any team that are in the Premier League who might get relegated but can spend 25 million on a centre forward.
Yeah.
You know, that's an advantage that he'll take, and they'll take him to. I mean, he's a good finisher. If you saw the game yesterday, the finishes. West Ham, I think it was their third goal. It was a really, really, really good move with Kyle Walker-Peters and gets involved down the right. And a finish, I mean, it might have been his second one, Castellanos, but really good finisher he looks.
Yeah, I mean, he does. And then obviously Jared Bowen staying at the club, you know, as well.
Big thing,
If he'd got into the England squad, it might have been different for him. He might have looked for a move elsewhere. But to stay and stay with his club is huge for the fan base as well, in terms of keeping them on side and keeping them pleased in a turbulent time.
Well, it's just showing loyalty.
Yeah.
And fans like that, you know, and he'll be held for that, and rightly so, because he chose the option, which not many do. I mean, we've seen already in the summer how many players are going to, and we've seen it many summers, not just this summer, where players, you know, try and push for a move by their agent. They want out the door. And he's done the opposite. He's just gone, well, we've gone down, I'll stay with us.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up next season, Shebahn, and we're talking about Jared Bowen's son, new deal with West Ham get promoted. Oh. That would, to me, would be the logical thing, that he's saying, I'm staying, and if West Ham go up, he'll stay with him on a new contract.
There's a lot of reports in the papers today. David Sullivan being at the game yesterday. We'll get into the back pages of the papers a little bit later on in the show. Also coming up, we're going to be joined by the producer of the new documentary on Jose Mourinho. It's out this week, and Cass and I have had the access to watch it, and it is absolutely fantastic. We've absolutely loved it, and we're looking forward to having the producer on the show. It'll be a great chat to have. I've got so many questions to ask Miles Coleman. So many questions on Jose. Coming up next, we'll discuss some of the best sporting documentaries as well. There's been some good ones. You can let us know your thoughts. What's been your best sporting documentary? Just ahead of the Mourinho one coming out on Netflix next week. 81089. You can get in touch this morning about your team, your performance yesterday. How was it being back at the football grounds? 03717 223344. It's the Weekend Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT in partnership with Volkswagen Transporter. Keep your business moving with Volkswagen's 5+ promise. Terms and conditions and exclusions apply. Good morning.
Barcelona are now leading the race to sign Rodri from Manchester City, notwithstanding the loss that would be to City in a new era under Enzo Maresca. What's the latest on that? And is it the case that Real Madrid have dropped the ball here? Because it seemed to be, reading reports, that Real Madrid were in the driving seat with this one.
Yeah, Rodri wanted Real Madrid earlier in the window, and Florentino Perez hadn't decided what kind of midfielder he was going for, which is why several names were linked, including Enzo Fernandez, and Real had to issue a statement saying we've had no contact with Enzo Fernandez. Jose Mourinho came in. Finally, they got the mandate from Perez to start negotiating financially, but Barca have basically hijacked this, although some sources say Barca were there even before the window opened, and it was Real that kind of steamrolled in. And ultimately, Rodri, for family reasons, wants to go to Spain, but we've got a fascinating scenario now. Man City want to keep. Pep Guardiola never used to stand in players' ways, especially senior ones that had been long-serving and loyal to the club. But Enzo Maresca's new, and of course, if it's his say, he'll go to his board and say, keep him. If he doesn't renew, we'll let him leave on a free transfer in 2020.
A wee throwback number there. Chantel T-shirt. I don't expect you know this song, Tony.
I've heard it. Yeah.
You've heard?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Okay, lovely.
I wouldn't have got who sang it, but I have heard it.
I think it was a one-hit wonder. Chantel. I want to say she was founded by Rihanna.
Yeah, but it was a very big hit, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. T-shirt.
Yeah.
I've heard it.
An older song now. The reason we're playing it in the papers today, it's reported that Phil Foden's other half is selling New England shirts on Vinted after her World Cup trip with other wags did not go ahead. So the jerseys were modified by a clothing brand which tightens in the waist, puts a bit of lace through it, glams it up.
Right.
So it's not your traditional footy shirt. She's putting them on Vinted for 70 quid each.
Oh, that's not bad.
You up for that?
No, I'm not, but I think that's not bad value.
Have you used Vinted?
No.
By the way, that's a headache. And it's addictive.
Oh, is it? So you're basically putting things on, clothing items on. Isn't it clothing, Vinted?
Yeah.
Just clothing items. Yeah. I've heard of it, but I've never used it.
I think there's loads of women put like baby clothes on it.
Right.
Okay. And you can do like a bunch of, say, 10 baby clothes for 3 quid. Do you know what I mean?
So you put them on Vinted to get minted.
Oh, very, very clever from you. Ever thought about selling your old jerseys, or do you keep them safe?
My very best ones, I've told you before, got stolen at World Cup 90. I lost them. I'll say they went missing, so I'm assuming someone took the bags. So, yeah, that was pretty harsh. But I tend to keep most of them. I've given quite a few away as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
My most important shirt was Gianluca Vialli's World Cup 90. I swapped with him.
And that's the one that was...
that was in the bag. That was the one.
That's rubbish.
The 3 main ones of that was Frank Rijkaard, Gianluca Vialli and Terry Butcher. That was from the group phase of that. You know.
Oh, God, and you wonder...
The Romanian one I can't remember. and an Egyptian one who was in our group as well. But the three main ones were them three players.
What a shame. So if we find them in Vinted, we'll know what's happened. Be nice to buy them back. Later on in the show, we've got Miles Coleman. He's a producer coming on the programme. He's worked on the new Mourinho documentary, which comes out this week on Netflix. It's a 3-part series. It's absolutely brilliant. And we've been talking about some of the best sporting docs. Cass, have you got one that springs to mind?
Well, I mean, Lockdown and Last Dance will be a lot of people's, because I didn't particularly like, basketball. I wasn't a fan. I hadn't been to many. I have seen the basketball game, but I mean, obviously during the lockdown, it was very different. I really enjoyed that. I also, when we were Kings, which was the boxing one, the Rumble in the Jungle, that was in Zaire, which is now the Democratic Republic of Congo. That's between George Foreman and Muhammad Ali. That's a great doc. With Spike Lee, all people make some sort of appearance in it. It's really, really good. I loved Pele's. I thought Pele's was great. Maradona's is extraordinary. I've done my own, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I need to watch yours. I need to watch
Extra
this.
Time. It was on RTE. Not that I'm promoting it, but, well, I'm here, I might as well. It was on RTE called Extra Time. It went down well. It was based on my book. Yeah, so that was good fun doing it. Took 2 years. So when I watch a doc, I mean, the amount of details now that are in docs are incredible. They go to full lengths. They get so much footage from years gone by. We're talking about Jose's in there. The footage that you'll see in it is extraordinary. Loads of different,
I mean, to when he was watching his dad play football. And what's incredible about this, what really struck with me is that even now he still goes around his days, Jose Mourinho, feeling that people don't like him. And he grew up watching his dad be idolised. And for him, it set like a bit of it put something in his mind to think that I'll never be as loved as much as the man who everyone loved. Everybody loved his dad. And it's funny because in it reminds me of Arsenal fans this season when Josie went to Chelsea and nobody wants us to win. It's us against them, us against them. That sounded like the Arsenal fans heading for the Premier League win that, the season just gone. And he's just the originator of so much, in the Premier League.
Well, there are divisive figures, Brian Clough was an incredible manager. Forest fans adore him. And many people in football adore Brian Clough. But that was a great documentary.
I've not seen that one.
Damn United. Clough's story in itself going to Leeds and Leeds fans not buying into it, or the players. Initially, it was the players. I think it's Michael Sheen who plays Brian, Michael Sheen, which is, but it's a great documentary or film. It's more of a film. I probably got it wrong there. It's probably more of a film. But, these type of things, you get so much backstory.
Yeah. The Manchester.
The documentaries are more real, as in some stuff gets fictionalized, doesn't it?
Yes. No, these are like, this follows the person. Yeah. More about their life, the archives, all that kind of stuff.
Well, it's going to be great if it's Jose.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be full guns blazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And, the way the players, it's obvious that the players would run through brick walls for this guy. They just would.
Yeah.
Because, that's the theme of the doc, isn't it? About how he gets people to literally join him. And if you're a traitor to him, he'd be great on Traitors, by the way, wouldn't he?
Good show.
He'd be great, wouldn't he? But he would be looking at everybody's movement, everybody's thinking. And if he had one little seed of doubt about you, you were gone.
Yeah. And actually, it does go into, the third episode goes into detail of a bit of a beef that you had with the player, but
I've met Jose. Yeah. I've chatted to him. He sent me a message once. I've told this before. Sent me a message.
Harton?
Yeah. Sent me just a message, a text.
What did he say?
Well, I was on Sky, and it was about 2005 after he'd won the Premier League with Chelsea, and I was on Sky, and I said he could run any club and win the Premier League. Because he was just so extraordinary that year. The way that Chelsea, how good they were, and
the characters as well, Cass. The characters in that team were Drogba, Lamps, John Terry. They were of it. It's brilliant. You're going to love it. You're going to love watching this, I have to say.
Yeah, no, I've seen quite a bit of it, and clips and things. But I could imagine that I could probably guess the things that would be happening, who would be in there, who would be speaking, because he had these loyal troops at the clubs. And also the difficulty of being Manchester United boss, being Spurs boss, Real Madrid, Inter Milan, what he did at Inter Milan was extraordinary. He had the same feel at Inter. He had that at Chelsea.
I know.
He's
and
exactly the
again,
same.
like characters and senior players that he had in that Inter squad, getting them to
and they're
win
crying when
they're all bawling their eyes out, and like grown men, as he was saying, like weeping on each other's shoulders. And then he left straight after that and goes to Madrid.
Yeah.
You know, and then now he's back at Madrid.
Yeah.
And
Well,
perfect timing of it all.
I mean, when he was it felt like he was spiraling out of literally not being ever getting a big job again.
Yeah.
And typical Jose then ends up going and get the biggest job in world football because they felt he was needed.
You do wonder that you have the conversation because you just see the admiration that Josie has for Sir Alex Ferguson throughout this, and he's always spoken about that. He's always had so much respect for him. Fergie's in the documentary as well. And you just think, who is the greatest? You know, because Sir Alex always offers, well, how many other countries could Josie have done it in?
Yeah.
You know, but Sir Alex and Pep's dominance continuously, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, Josie, next, you're going to love...
Well, the Jose story hasn't finished, has it?
No.
So, you know, Sir Alex, what he achieved at Manchester United was incredible.
Yeah.
You know, and to last, you know, was it 25 years plus? You know, that's extraordinary in itself. And, yeah, I mean, you're talking about, you know, you get some arguments, you can't, it's just a different opinion who you think was a better manager.
Yeah.
Now, Pep Guardiola and what he's achieved in football.
Yeah.
But Jose is the most, if you're talking the biggest personality ever, he's up there. Yeah. He's got to be. He's definitely in the top three, and he's probably number one for most.
Yeah. Send us, by the way, your favourite sporting documentaries, because there might be some we've missed. 81089 03717 223344. The producer of the new Mourinho documentary, Miles Coleman, is with us later on today on the Weekend Sports Breakfast. And just stating the obvious, as a wee girl growing up in Glasgow, I didn't watch a lot of Premier League, right?
Right.
But my God, he's so handsome in these archives. He is. I mean, there's magazines like, you know, the lifestyle magazines. They were all, the fashion experts were all like fawning over Jose Mourinho.
Have I got time for a very quick story?
Yeah.
We got invited to Chelsea Cobham training ground, all ex-players. Okay, so I go along. And there with Kerry Dixon, Andy Townsend, and a few others. Dennis Wise were there. And so we watched training, and then we were allowed to go into where the canteen was, and we'd sit there. And Josie come up to us. There was about 8 or 10 of us. And we're all sitting there. And Josie comes up and sort of stands next to me, and then he says, I watched you in Monaco when I was about 35, playing for Nancy. I was playing in Monaco, and I played quite well in the game. I was 35 years old, and he was the scout. He said, I watched you when I was assistant at Barcelona, like scout, when I was scouting. He said, I watched you play. And I said, any good? He went, nah. And all the lads were laughing, like, because I'm thinking, you know, like, I remember playing well in the game and thinking, yeah, he's going to be really nice. Like, I said, they didn't fancy like taking me then, Jose? And he went, no.
Brilliant.
And literally, not even just that one word, no. And all the lads, I mean, Andy was there as well. And Andy said, I'm creasing up laughing. He said, he's killed you there.
That has been killed for sure. Get in touch with these, 81089. You're listening to the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. What do you think about these half and half scarves? What do you think of half and half scarves? West Ham banned them yesterday at the London Stadium. We'll chat about the Hammers in more detail next.
I anticipate Arsenal to absolutely go again and just be as good as they've been this season. Mm. The key element for me on the title this year is Rodri. Mm. If Rodri's a Manchester City player throughout the whole course of the season, Manchester City will win the league.
That's a shouting off, that isn't it?
Do you disagree? If Manchester City lose Rodri and he goes to Real Madrid, they will not win the league.
I know what you're saying, but I look at it as well from because Anderson's coming, isn't he?
Yeah. So he's not Rodri.
I know he's not Rodri.
But he'll benefit from playing alongside him.
Yeah, that would happen.
But if you leave him on his own in there, I think you've got carnage.
Mm. I do know what you're saying, but I think there's more of a factor that Maresca might not be up for it either. You don't know yet.
I think he's up for it.
You reckon he's up for it?
I think he's up for it.
We'll see.
He knows that club. He's been at that club. He understands how that club
You're
works.
talking like a real Manchester City supporter.
He went to Chelsea. He did.
Are you Blackburn? You're a Blackburn fan, didn't you?
Yeah, we'll talk.
Hold on a minute.
We'll talk about.
Good morning, Weekend Sports Breakfast. You're listening to talkSPORT. It's Shebahn Aherne and former Republic of Ireland striker Tony Cascarino.
Yep.
Wee bit of Whitney there. Today would have been her birthday.
Oh, would it?
Yeah.
How old will Whitney be? She was in the 80s singing, so I would say probably... Would she be 60, Whitney? 58?
How old her?
No, I didn't think she was...
Well, I can't count, so you've really...
What year was she
really
born?
thrown me here. She would be 62 years old, I think.
62?
Yeah. 63 years old.
Oh, right.
63. $1 Million Bill. By the way, one artist who's passed away. Love to see Whitney.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, never saw her. Amazing voice.
Oh my God, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Some of your headlines you're listening to this morning. Jack Wilshere's Luton Town beat Gillingham at Priestfield Stadium 3-0 to go to the round 2 of the Carabao Cup. Unlucky Cass. Wigan Warriors overpowered Toulouse 48-18 to make it 11 wins in a row to climb to second in the Super League. And Callum Simpson gets his revenge, winning back his British super middleweight title from Troy Williamson by unanimous decision. We can hear how talkSPORT Spencer Oliver, who caught up with the Champions promoter boxer CEO Ben Shalom after the fight.
What a risk, a calculated gamble there, but it paid off for Callum Simpson. What a fight.
Unbelievable fight, and unbelievable. It was a hard 12 rounds to watch. I thought he was going to get him out of there. I think it was the third or fourth. I can't quite remember which round, but my God, Troy Williamson kept coming, and what a fight. But for Callum, after all the he was putting, boxing fans so quick to write someone off and tell them, oh, that's his level, or he should never fight at the weight again, or I don't think the rematch. The amount of people that told me in boxing, I want to just say to you, so many WhatsApps saying, do not take that rematch from the other side. We took it, he did it, and I'm so excited. I'm so happy for him.
Absolutely incredible for Callum Simpson. There's more on this on our website at talksport.com.
There you go again.
Yeah.
We're going to have a third, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
You know, two incredible fights. So, yeah, they'll go. I'm pretty sure they'll go again.
Yeah. No, brilliant for him. All the reaction on the website talksport.com and on our talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel. Let's talk about West Ham. They advanced to the next round of the Carabao Cup after a deserved 2-1. It was 3-1 win over Portsmouth yesterday. Nuno named a strong starting 11 for the Hammers. First game of the season. Goals coming from Bowen and a brace from Tati Castellanos. We can get more now from the game with West Ham fan and actor Charlie Quirk. Good morning, Charlie.
Hi, Charlie.
Morning, how you doing? You okay?
Yeah, we're good. First up, I just wanted to ask you, because obviously the first half hour of the game was pretty quiet, pretty slow. But when West Ham got going, the finishing was fantastic yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, all last season, we always went 1-0 down, it seemed, in the Prem. And that's when we woke up. But it didn't work for us last year because some of the teams were a bit better than we were, clearly. But yeah, I think it just took us a bit of time just to feel them out and just to get into it. And, going into every game, I know it's the Cup, but going into every game this season, we're going to probably be favourites. So we've got that added pressure this season, which I'm looking forward to. Do you know what I mean? I'm looking forward to having a bit of pressure and seeing what we can produce. And when you've got players like the quality of Bowen and Tati, for example, I think that those little moments are really going to make the difference. They'll hopefully get us promoted again, I think.
I mean, it is a massive advantage for West Ham going into the Championship and having players of that quality in the forward areas where you just know. I mean, Tati looks such a good finisher, and even at times last year when I didn't think West Ham created enough chances for him, because you get him in front of goal, he's a serious finisher.
I completely agree. I mean, he reminds me of when we had Arnautovic, that sort of like raw, aggressive talent, essentially. And I'm a really big fan of Tati. And obviously, we haven't signed anyone really yet. But I think keeping those sort of players, keeping Bowen and Tati, and seeing Edson Alvarez start the game, which he had 1 foot out the door until literally a week ago, I heard. So, yeah, having those Premier League quality and, top Premier League players, I think it's only going to stand us in good stead to get us back to the Premier League. But I have to say, guys, I'm sort of looking forward to the Championship now we're here and it's happening. No VAR. And the feel around the stadium yesterday, it's like having our club back a little bit and having football back. So we'll see if we beat Burnley. We'll see.
You won't like me saying this, but are you mostly looking forward to it because you're quite clearly a very strong team in comparison to the others? I mean, it's almost a wee bit unfair, Charlie, how strong the West Ham squad is.
I mean, 2 caveats to that. We are still West Ham, so who knows what West Ham will do.
True.
But I am Shebahn. Do you know what I mean? My old man said, we just want to go to a game and, enjoy 90 minutes of football. It's been very difficult to enjoy what we've had to sit through the last couple of years because we've lost most games. You know what I mean? It hurts. So it's going to be nice just to go there on a Saturday afternoon and have a smile on your face and hopefully see the lads put in a good performance. So I know what you mean. Yeah, I think, I think us and Wolves are quite clearly the favourites to go straight back up automatically. You never know with West Ham and with the more places in the playoffs. You don't know with the Championship. I don't want to get too confident after being Portsmouth, but if we go up to Turf Moor and we can't get a result, people start worrying. But who knows? It's West Ham and it's going to be a fun ride.
And Charlie, look. It's obvious there's a problem upstairs, and we don't need to go into too much detail about that. But it didn't seem to affect the atmosphere yesterday, or am I wrong?
Yes, yeah, you're completely right, Tony. It seems like what's happened has happened. Decisions have been made. A decision was made yesterday that the people were there. That was a surprise. But it seems like the fan base has completely shifted to get completely behind the team again. Okay. And focus what's going down on the pitch, what the fans can have, a say over. We've done our work by some voicing displeasures, and we'll see what happens going forwards from there, really.
I mean, that's it. You can only control what you can, and that's, excuse me, supporting the team. Charlie, have you had to bin any of your half and half scarves?
I mean, I'm not saying it on talkSPORT. I'll be honest, I've never bought a half and half scarf.
Good man. Good man.
No, do you know what? I'm going to hold my hands up. We're all friends here. We're going to tell the truth. I bought one.
Oh, there we
go. But that was when I went to Prague for the Conference League final. My old man wanted a half and half, to remember the moment. But never a Championship or a Premier League game would we ever have a half and half.
Never had a half and half Millwall West Ham.
No, mate, I haven't. But funny enough, I have got my tickets, fingers crossed, secured for the game at the Den. It's on my birthday, so I won't be wearing a half and half scarf. I don't think I'll be wearing a scarf at all, I'll be honest.
Well, I don't think Millwall fans will be so happy with that
I don't think
one.
they'll be available.
Do you know what? I mean, I'm going to the game as well that particular day, and this could actually be a tech subject, but there is one half and half shirt, scarf that can't ever happen. It's Millwall West Ham, or vice versa, West Ham Millwall. But the amount of teams you could say, who's the one half and half scarf
Rangers
you can't
Celtic?
have? Huh?
Rangers Celtic.
Rangers Celtic, great example.
Yeah,
but there's loads of them around. There's been Leeds fans and Manchester United, Man United and Liverpool. Liverpool,
Well, the reason we bring that up then, Charlie, is because there's an actual ban from the stadium now of fans being able to bring in half and half scarves. They've said West Ham would like to remind supporters that the half and half scarves and any items displaying the colours of or crests of both clubs are permanently banned inside the London Stadium. This policy applies at all fixtures, so you won't be getting a wee half and half scarf anyway.
I mean, some of the touts outside, bless them, what are they going to do on a Saturday morning?
I know.
Before they're meeting? But no, I think it's a mad thing that's been going on. The half and half scarves, it's completely aimed at sales, isn't it? And I think why not? If you want to wear a scarf, wear your own team's one. I think it will stop a lot of problems as well. When maybe there's been problems within stadiums over the years, over London Stadium. Yeah. It just cuts out any silliness, I guess. So some people are losing some money though.
Yeah, no, that's it. Great to have your first game back though, and 53,369 as a turnout yesterday at the London Stadium. It's just good to have football back, isn't it?
100%. Yeah, we got relegated. It hurt for a while, but like I said at the start of this call, it's exciting. We get to watch our team hopefully win again, and I mean, we sold 50,000 season tickets for this season, which is testament to our fan base really. And
wow.
Some of the old guard coming back, like we said, Tone, with some of the changes upstairs, people getting back behind the team, and 50,000 season tickets in a 60,000 seater is incredible. And I think Portsmouth, credit to them. I think they had a 9,000 ticket allocation, which they sold out. It was great. It was like the World Cup is over and done, and that hurt. Now we get to go through club football again and enjoy it. And I'm buzzing. I'm just looking forward to hopefully seeing some wins back in the London Stadium. Really.
Yeah. Well, you are, even by the bookmakers, you are clear favourites to win the championship, Charlie.
Clear favourites. So then Wolves are. Yeah, but it's still West Ham. I love my club. Well, if we're favourites, we'll make it interesting. That's for sure. But no, I think like you said, our squad. We were able to bring on James Ward-Prowse and Malik Diouf in the second half. It's players like that in 60, 70 minutes into a game, they can be the difference. You do know what I mean? So I'm not sure who we're going to have coming through the door, but seeing that squad, and I have to say some of the young lads, Ante, I mentioned him last week on talkSPORT. He's the real deal, man. He's got something that's just raw talent, and I think players like that are really going to shine. And Kilman's had a resurgence, but in pre-season and yesterday, he couldn't even get on the pitch last season. So
no,
players like that might have a resurgence. Like he might be on the Winston Reid who changed on into the champ.
Yeah. Well, Charlie, good to have you on with us this morning. It's nice to hear your positivity. Football being back and a good start for West Ham.
See you at the new den, Charlie.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Lovely to speak to you, actor and West Ham fan there, Charlie Quirk. 81089 is the text number, by the way, where we're asking you your favourite sporting documentaries. Morning, Shebahn and Tony. My favourite documentary is Ted Lasso, how he gave everything up and moved to America from the UK, not knowing the game, and how he integrated and succeeded is inspirational. That's from Stuart. Is that a laugh? Oh, Stuart, you bad egg. I've never watched it.
No, it's very funny.
Apparently,
it's crazy scenes in it, especially with the manager. But yeah, it's great. It's old school fictional, humour of what the game was once like.
Two Escobars is the best sporting documentary I've seen.
Escobars
about the Colombian defender. Killed after the World Cup, and the drug kingpin as well.
That's 94
really
World Cup.
Looking forward to the new Mourinho one. That's from Martin and Kent. Hope that one wasn't a wind up. 81089, keep these coming in. We've got the producer of the new Mourinho documentary coming on the show later on today. You're listening to the Weekend Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT in partnership with Volkswagen Transporter. Volkswagen's 5+ promises included when you purchase a selected vehicle. Terms and conditions and exclusions apply. Ted Lasso, brilliant, inspirational. Next up, we'll take a look through the back pages of today's papers, and then later on we'll run through the top 5 managerial personalities in football. Will your favourite make the cut? Good morning.
Real Madrid. Go and look at this is the point that I think Gabby was making this morning. I know that he was making it regarding trophies and what have you, but look at the brand value.
180 million.
There you go. Right, that's how big that football club is.
Right, that's a lot.
That's how big that is as a worldwide entity. 180 million, and you're talking about him coming to a club that has 32 million followers on Instagram. Again, these are very basic metrics. Very basic metrics. But Vinicius Junior is in a completely different stratosphere. All this talk about him coming to Arsenal throughout the whole course of the summer has just been manipulation from an agent trying to get the dude a few more quid. That's what it is. He was never in a million years going to be an Arsenal player this summer. That's what it is. It's just manipulating the market. Let's see if I can get some more money for my guy. Yeah. Why would he come to Arsenal?
I said that was the agent talk. Agent talk. Just using Arsenal as a
leverage.
A tool.
Yeah. Arsenal are interested. Oh, right, wicked. Brilliant. Arsenal, champions of England. Right, well, let's use them. Yeah. Let's use them. Go back to the table with the Real Madrid lads. Forward. Yeah, he's coming out of contract. You know what I mean? He needs a few more zeros on this contract. Yeah. Okay. We're going to sign Yandy Mande.
Good morning, you're listening to the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. It's Shebahn Aherne and former Marseille striker Tony Cascarino. Cass woke up 1 minute before his alarm went off today.
Yeah, 1 minute. I normally wake up, I normally don't need the alarm.
No,
I put it on, but I always wake up before it. And today was 1 minute just before it came.
Oh, see, if I didn't set an alarm, you'd be hosting this on your own.
No, I am anyway,
Huh?
I am.
We're building up to a huge summer of sport. Here's what's coming up for you on talkSPORT today. At 9 o'clock, it's the Sunday edition. We've got Sean Custis and Henry Winter, the warm-up with Ollie Klink and Charlie Baker. 1 o'clock, the Sunday session is here with Sam Ellard and Perry Groves. And then 5 o'clock, Majestic and Alan Pardew are with you for the final word. And finally, Trans Euro Express tonight with Andy Brissell. Keep it talkSPORT and keep it cross absolutely everything. Time now for this. Sam Stevens is here for today's Back Pages.
Yeah, hello. It's very nice to be back with you. I loved the Last Dance documentary. I also loved Icarus, which is the one where they tried to do a documentary on the Tour de France and ended up revealing the whole truth about the Russian doping scandal. Unbelievable.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a remarkable documentary.
Icarus was amazing. That won loads of awards as well.
Yeah, incredible.
There was a great documentary, and I think it's called Hell on Sunday or something like that, and it's to do with the Tour de France. It's based on the mid-1970s Tour de France, and it's literally about the final day or this grueling race that every year goes on. That's one of the ones that I'd heard about. I've never watched, but I'd like to know if anyone has. I think it's called something like Hell on Sunday.
Is it?
Yeah.
Sounds lovely.
You love a bit. You love a bit of the Tour de France, don't you, Cass?
Well, I have done. I never used to, but I got into it, and obviously there's a lot of stuff that goes on, as done in history over the Tour de France.
Now, I wanted to bring you something slightly interesting from the papers today, unusually for me, and this is in the Sunday Telegraph, an interview with Nick Knowles, him of TV fame.
Oh, yeah.
Nick Knowles?
Yeah.
He's invested in the Cornish Pirates rugby team. He reckons they're going to be the next Wrexham. He said, I love rugby. I love a pasty. The TV presenter, who's best known for hosting the BBC show DIY SOS, is explaining his decision to become an investor in Cornish Pirates, who play in the second tier of English rugby, and the prospect of making a documentary about their against-the-odds attempt to make it to the top flight. Knowles is the latest investor in the club after Stonewood Capital, an American private equity firm, agreed a 7-figure deal for a minority stake in Penzance-based Pirates in May. Comparisons have already been drawn with the investment by Hollywood actors Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney in Wrexham and the subsequent success of the documentary Welcome to Wrexham, which tells the behind-the-scenes story. There's no point pretending those comparisons aren't there, he said. What a lot of people don't understand when they watch Welcome to Wrexham, because I've heard other football clubs going, oh, we're going to do that about this club or that club, is what it really rests on. The worldwide fame of Welcome to Wrexham rests on two things. One is obviously you've got Ryan Reynolds and the other lad, the Hollywood guy, but the other thing is the millions of people who watch aren't all football fans. They're watching for the people. It's about the Welsh miners, the history of Wales, and fighting for their place in society. He says, effectively, it's about trying to get other people involved in the sport and get them interested in the sport. I just think it's quite interesting to see, you know, a club like this, Cornish Pirates, kind of Cornwall, not really the heartland for those kind of things. You just wonder who the next great sporting institution could be, don't you? You know, you've got some celebrity investment like this, you never know whether it might happen with your club.
No, I mean, that's what sport does. The importance of sport, and we talked about it yesterday.
Yeah.
What it brings to the table, entertainment and values and principles of life. That's what sport does. I mean, I obviously have a bit of a bias because in Ireland, you have Gaelic and you have hurling, Gaelic football and hurling, which is not professional.
Yeah.
People don't get paid. People give up their Sundays or days in the week to do things for free, and the players don't get paid. They get some sort of extra, they get bonuses or things from the game, or maybe positions in a job, but they don't get actually paid for playing the game. And these are the sort of stories that I find are very interesting.
And that's the thing, then, the amount of fans and clubs that have been hard done by owners coming in who weren't fit to take on a club and who ruined a club. But when you look at the likes of Rob McElhenney and Ryan Reynolds going to Wrexham, when you watch the documentary of Welcome to Wrexham and you see them coming in and why he loved the pyramid system so much. That's what because you don't really get relegation.
No.
Stuff like that. I mean, that he loved that system, and then Wrexham was the fit. And now they are absolutely obsessed with Wrexham and the town and stuff like that. So it's
and the history.
And the history is getting the right person, the right fit, you know.
Shebahn, do you know, the owner of a football club, or the chairman as it used to be, right? None of them used to get paid. So now chairman and owners get rewarded because if you're buying an asset and you resell that asset, you know, and that is something. Chairman used to do the job. It was a privilege to be a chairman.
Yeah,
it was a position that you got into in life, but you've been successful in life. You'd get a position of being chairman of a football club, you know. And then obviously it will change with finance and huge money that come into the game.
Mind you, Simon Jordan's always said, if you want to make money, don't get into football. You know, because it's a tough old business to be in, isn't it?
Well, it is. But there are people who have made.
Of course.
You get it right.
Ken Bates, who sold the club and lived in Monaco for the rest of his life, he'd say, well, I done okay.
Yeah.
You know, Ken's not here no more, but Ken did have some real struggles along the way.
You can make it work, can't you, if you're shrewd?
Oh, it's a tough gig. Look,
Tough.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of the youngsters coming up through the ranks in the Premier League. That's an interesting piece from Tom Olnut in the Sunday Times this morning. Top teenagers don't want to wait in the Premier League anymore, he says. They know the division is younger than ever, and that if one club is not offering them first-team opportunities, another surely will. Youngsters once considered old enough only to scrub the boots of the senior pros are being handed starts in the toughest league in the world. Just look at the numbers. The three youngest debutants to play in the Premier League, Ethan Nwaneri, 15 years, 5 months and 28 days, Max Dowman, 15 years, 7 months, 23 days, and Jeremy Munga, 15 years, 8 months and 28 days, all entered the stage in the past 4 years. Last season, the Premier League had its fourth youngest goal scorer when Rio Ngamoa curled the winner against Newcastle 3 days before his 17th birthday, and then the youngest ever when Dowman scored against Everton, aged 16 and 73 days in March, giving him more Premier League goals than GCSEs. Incredible as it may seem, Dowman's still 16, Nwaneri now 19, already big names at Arsenal, just as Ngamoa, 17, has demonstrated his sizzling talent on the wing for Liverpool. Likewise, Estevao's 19, Eli Junior Krupi 20 at Bournemouth, and Josh King at 19, all of whom became established senior players last season. So there's a piece here about which other ones could make it. And he's gone through a long list of really interesting looking players. Ryan McAdoo's 18, Man City, Shea Lacey, winner at Man United, 19, Marley Salmon's only 16 at Arsenal. But does this kind of quite encouraging, actually, isn't it, that young players have got this pathway through to the first team now? Do you think, Cass?
Yeah, and the facilities available to young players from a very early age and the amount of players that go into football clubs and being prepared, it's improved the level.
Do you think?
Absolutely. The level now is so high. I look at non-league football. I reckon non-league football would have been professional. The standards that some of the non-league teams play now.
Interesting.
because every level, there's things that they do in the game that, you know, we'd have said only the greatest players could do on the earth. I mean, the one thing that the diagonal ball, and when it goes to a winger and he runs and he literally takes it out of the air in one touch.
Yeah.
It's on his foot. You never saw that years ago.
Right.
That was a George Best thing. You know, one of the great players. That was Glenn Hoddle. You know, could do that. Now you've got players who can take the ball on the run with their technique, and the level of technique is risen to an incredible level.
Does this speak then to the quality of academies?
Yes.
Getting these, because there's always a lot of criticism, isn't there, about how young players are when they're moved into academies these days. You know, being scouted from 6 or 7 and sometimes being moved in when they're kind of 10, 11, 12 or whatever. Do you think actually that it shows that although there are some difficulties there when it comes to, you know, childhood issues and things like that, but actually there is a positive. If you can get players in very, very young, then they can be up to speed almost by the time to get to mid to late teenagers.
Well, the thing is, Sam, if you were great on your left foot and you weren't very good on the right foot, that was common.
Yeah.
You know, we used to always talk that. Now, most players are two-footed, younger players. They can be predominantly one foot, but they're definitely two-footed and they can still use their other foot. Their qualities have to be physical as well. Their diet that they obviously eat day by day is preparing for professional football. These young lads are going to learn about their food, their athleticism, their technique, their intelligence, you know, how they manage themselves in a game. They've got so much knowledge in front of them. You know, to me, it's obvious why players so technical now are so, I feel, a lot higher standards.
Yeah, you never know how any of these players will do, but I think it's encouraging for the future of the Premier League and also the England national team that there's so many players coming through.
What we've got to remember as well that they're young boys.
Very young.
They're young boys.
They're
I mean,
boys,
I'm just looking at the picture of Shea Lacey and remember when he gets sent off from Manchester United and he's a wee boy at the end of the day, you know, in there it's boys and men, and you know, he's done the Instagram post apologising. I'm like, you're just a lad, you're going to have to learn from these experiences as well. But the structure that they go through is top tier.
It's phenomenal.
Top tier in this country.
I mean, you go to these training grounds, Sam, and you see what's available for them and what they're learning, who they're learning from, you know, how much information they can take on board.
I mean, what was it like then in comparison to your day? I mean,
when I first joined Gillingham, and obviously that was at League One level, there was apprentices and you'd come in. They were doing all the dirty work for the players generally, but they didn't have the coaching available to them at League One. I mean, I go now and I look at Bromley as a football club and you see how that's improved.
Do they still have their duties though, like to clean boots or bring in the nets or take out the balls? Like that's mental.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the right word, but that's nuts. Like they still have to know that there are people more senior to them, and those. I mean, Ray Parlour spoke about that. He said he had to clean certain boots and all that kind of
it's
stuff.
important to staying grounded, isn't it?
Your job.
Exactly.
Is now they are.
You've got to try and keep.
Superstars.
You've got to try and keep that. But there's certain things they don't have to do. But also, what's given to them in knowledge and people that are trying to improve them as players, and the number of coaches, it's just there for them to have every opportunity. And whatever anyone says, you go and watch you put 2 tellies in your room. If you've got 2 tellies, and put one of a 1975 game of a top Division 1 game and put one on today, the technique and speed and many other things is completely different from that game. Now, you might love the old game. Yeah? You might love it more. There's things to love about the football in years gone by. But you can't compare it technically, physically, you know, maybe a difference.
There you go, folks. Cass's confirmed it didn't used to be better.
I love the era I played in. But it was a different game from what I witnessed today. I'm talking technical and everything available for every player.
Sam, thank you very much. It's finally done. Coming up for you on talkSPORT today, Bino Guimaraes has completed his move to the Premier League champions Arsenal. Does this make Arsenal favourites again for the title? Southampton got off to winning ways in the EFL yesterday. We'll get into all of that on the Weekend Breakfast on talkSPORT.
Chris, what about Man U? I fancy United have a much better season. I think Michael deserves this job, and I do think they're going to be up there. I think they're going to push. I think they're going to be strong.
No, I do. I think I'm so happy to see Carragher's just thriving. I think, obviously, having played with him, you know what kind of character he is. He's that composed and he's intelligent, and he's obviously bringing that into one of the biggest jobs in world football. And I think the run they obviously had at the end of last season, obviously in 2026, I think they were like #1 in points taken. So for him to be able to have a full pre-season, bring in whoever he likes in terms of players and just have that belief, I think there's no one better kind of, steering that ship really. And no, I'm excited to see what the season brings for them.
I think it's going to be an interesting season, Chris, all round, because so many new managers. You don't know what to expect. Liverpool, Chelsea, Spurs have spent big money as well. Whether they can try and get into that top 4.
Tyson Fury, Floyd Mayweather, Canelo Alvarez. Just hearing these names makes you think money and the hundreds of millions of dollars, pounds or Saudi riyals in boxing. But that's at the top. At the bottom, it isn't quite the same. Even for those on the rise, there's not an awful lot of cash in the boxing world. And if you're just starting out, well, it can be a very costly exercise indeed. But don't take my word for it. Here's the former European champion, talkSPORT's Spencer Oliver.
You're turning professional and you're boxing, let's say, York Hall on a non-televised fight. You have to sell tickets to earn any money, but you have to cover the wages of your opponent as well. So if you don't have the ability to be able to sell enough tickets, you effectively have to pay to fight.
A far cry then from Jake Paul facing Mike Tyson in 2024, when the purse was reported to be around £48 million. But the vast amounts of cash lining the top dog's pockets isn't the norm in a typical fight.
Let's say you're lucky and you get between 5 and 10 grand. You're going to get 10 grand max for that. 10% goes to the trainer, 25% goes to the manager. Then we've got the tax man to pay as well. So we're cutting that money in at least half. So now you've got 5 grand for a 10-week camp. So you're talking about a guy here earning, he might be clearing 500 quid a week. How do you support a family on that? So boxers chase the dream. And, there's probably 2% of them that actually make it.
So say you do make it and you start to rise up the ranks. Strikers Boxing, a training academy, says the mid-tier fighters can earn more, somewhere between £10,000 and £50,000 a fight, depending on record, profile, opponent and popularity of weight class. It's only at the top level does the real cash start flowing in, with the top-tier professionals, i.e. those going for titles, earning 6 figures a fight. Something else you'll have heard of is the terms prize fighter or journeyman. A prize fighter is, as it sounds, someone who picks up fights where they can and gets a nice big check if they win. Journeymen are the fighters who take on up-and-comers, effectively used for experience in the ring. Even if they're going up against a real prospect, a young Anthony Joshua, for example, these guys will be lucky to earn more than 10 grand. So the average boxer isn't as rich as you'd think.
A very good morning to you. Happy Sunday. You're listening to the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. My name's Shebahn Aherne, alongside former Chelsea striker Tony Cascarino.
Good morning.
So the Carabao Cup and live football has returned here to talkSPORT. West Ham made it safely through it with a 3-1 win over Pompey.
The Hammers are happy on the opening weekend of the season. The final score at the London Stadium is West Ham 3, Portsmouth 1.
Tonda Eckert's Southampton also got off to a winning start with a 2-0 victory at Colchester.
Here comes Southampton. Akachukwu is into the area, checks onto his left foot and scores! A brilliant moment for the young man. His first Southampton goal.
We're looking back on the best of the Carabao Cup from yesterday, and later on today on the Weekend Sports Breakfast we're going to talk about Jose Mourinho, because he is the subject of a new Netflix documentary. We've had a little sneaky peek. It's coming out later this week, and the producer Miles Coleman is going to be with us here in the studio. What's the best sporting documentary you've ever seen? Keep these coming in. 81089 03717 22 3344 is the number on the Weekend Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT. Good morning. And good morning to those of you already on the text this morning. Hi to Jane in Scarborough, huge cycling fan. Cash, you touched on the documentary earlier on.
Yeah.
It's called A Sunday in Hell.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yep.
Yeah.
One of the greatest cycling documentaries ever made about the 1976 Paris one day. Yeah. Nothing to do with the Tour de France. Highly recommended. That's from Jane, the big cycling fan.
Right.
Lots of these coming in. Keep them coming in this morning. I love a good sporting documentary.
No, I'd heard about that one. I've obviously never watched it, because that's why I asked the question. But I didn't know it wasn't about the Tour de France. I just assumed. But yeah, there's some great stuff out there. And look, fair play to people who can produce this high quality level of just super interesting. They really are.
Because TV's struggling at the minute, isn't it? Like, shows be cancelled, and some things just don't work out.
Well, we're missing the word honesty, because some things ain't as nice. And I'm not condoning a sort of web where you can do what you like and criticise who you want. But if you're getting honest material that's frank, and that's how it was, then I find that really interesting, whether we like it or not.
Yeah, and then their opinions on it in the aftermath of it, or there at the time, and how things change over time.
For Jose, I mean, this is one of the questions we can ask. Jose managing in his early years and managing today, that in itself is an issue, because obviously you have younger players, different generations. They might need different way of explaining things, and if you want to be hardball when sometimes you need to be hardball, then you can be criticised for you went too far. But I've had coaches and managers who have gone too far for me. Mm-hmm. But I didn't take it personally. I took it like, well, they're actually trying to help me as well. And sometimes you need to kick up the backside in life.
That's funny you mentioned, the age as well then of Jose Mourinho and how long he's been around, and managers maybe constantly have to develop themselves, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
evolving.
Evolving and connecting with a younger audience, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But the thing is about sport is just the biggest entertainment business, isn't it? Like, sports flying, sports making a lot of money. So these documentaries are so sought after. Mm. So this Mourinho one, I think he's box office. It is box office.
Look, I like Jose anyway. I've always loved his character, and there's some stuff you think, can't believe he's just said that. But fair play, it's a personality.
And what also you mentioned there then about the age of things, your friend Alison Rudd has done this piece in the Times today about the managers in the top flight getting younger too, but be aware of the Rosinia effect, the average age of a Premier League manager this season being 46.
Yeah, and that includes David Moyes, who's 63 in there. Yeah. Managers are getting younger as well.
Yeah, he's 30 years older than Fabian Hertzler.
Yeah.
But it's incredible. They're all doing great jobs.
Yeah.
And I think the man management must be so crucial.
Yeah, the interesting thing in that article Alison's mentioned is the fact that clubs are also trusting to go with younger people as well.
Yeah.
They're, like, if you look at the Bloom example with Hunsela, they trusted to take in a manager. What was he when he was there? Was he 31 when he first got to Brighton?
Fabian, yeah.
Fabian Hunsela?
Oh, yeah.
I think he was about 31 when he joined the club. That's a brave call to take a 31-year-old. I mean, we see it in Germany. It's happened before, Well,
that was interesting. We were in Germany when Fabian Hertzler was announced for the Euros.
Yeah.
And their coverage of it was that he is going to get eaten up, spat out the Premier League because of his age.
Yeah.
So he became the youngest manager then to come in. And then that's the thing what Alison mentions there about Liam Rosinia arriving at Chelsea, trying to disguise your top level experience.
Yes.
Kind of thing. You can't disguise it. You're learning in a way as well.
Yeah. You're better off going there just being frank and honest. And look, I'm filling some big shoes here. We've managed this football club, and I'm going to give it my all. But if they sense any weakness,
the players will run all over you.
Yeah, we'll do more on this a little bit later on in the show, but for now let's get into the transfer window. Still some big players potentially on the move. PSG heavily involved. Could Bradley Barcola be off to Liverpool? We've been speaking about this one for weeks. Let's get more now with former editor of L'Equipe, Eric Bilderman is with us now. Good morning to you, Eric. How's things?
Hi, Eric.
Good morning. Good to speak to you.
Hiya.
Good to speak to you, Eric. Look, everybody in Liverpool certainly are wanting to know what is the situation with Barcola at PSG. Is it a possibility that he could end up at Anfield?
I do believe it's so. We have to be patient. It seems that Paris Saint-Germain is keen to let him go, but they want big money. Barcola has refused to make a new deal after 2028, so this is the perfect window to sell him. The fixed price given by Paris Saint-Germain is 135 million pounds, and it seems the offer of Liverpool so far is around 100 million. So I guess within the next 2 or 3 weeks, an agreement might be settled. The player is definitely willing to play for Liverpool. This is quite obvious. Then he's not a free transfer, so the question mark is still there between the two clubs.
Tell me, Eric, because you could argue that Barcola is not a natural starter in the PSG team, but then they have Doué, Kvaratskhelia, Dembele, so they've got incredible talent. So where do you rank him in them four strikers I just talked about? Kvaratskhelia, Doué and Dembele and him. Do you think he's the number one of them, or do you think he would be second, third or maybe even fourth choice?
You know, with Luis Enrique is sweeping most of the players on the left side of the offensive squad. He has 3 options with Gvara, with Barcola, and with Désiré Doué, and he will have even more now with new players signing. Barcola is the perfect team player. Whatever you use him first choice, after 60 minutes he will go on the bench, and if you use him as a sub, he will enter in the 60 minutes. He's not a first 11, but there is no first 11 really at Paris Saint-Germain regarding the FA Cup, the Champions League, the French National Premier League. So altogether, he plays 40 to 50 games. So I guess if he goes to Liverpool, it's because he believes, whatever you think about Premier League and Liverpool legend and so on, he do think and he does expect to play as a first 11. That's a big difference.
Yeah. So obviously PSG, if they lose him, is Fernan Torres an option? Because it's been widely tipped that he could make the move from Spain to Paris.
Yeah. Ferran Torres, it's 99% sure that he will land to Paris Saint-Germain. The question mark you were asking about Barcola, it's the same with him. He will be part of the squad. We don't expect him to be at the first 11, but he will have his game when to substitute on Dembele and to make a turnover with Dembele up front. It will be a perfect choice. We are quite optimistic about the transfer. The player have said it, the agent have said it, Paris Saint-Germain have said it. So there is just an email of confirmation expected now.
Oh, interesting. And what do you think Barcola would bring to Liverpool then?
Yeah, I think he will bring the fact that he comes from the best club in the world at the moment. He has won twice the Champions League. He works in a club where the dressing room policy is no superstar, no single-minded person. We get rid of Mbappe, Neymar, and Messi just to have normal profile players. He's a normal profile player. What he will bring to Liverpool is that he is educated by Luis Enrique, and Luis Enrique wants player with a team spirit, not single-minded spirit. Of course, they can be gifted and give their individual talent, but they need to work as team player. And I think when you have achieved what Paris Saint-Germain have achieved in the last 2 seasons, for once, a French player can bring something in terms of European power to a club like Liverpool, which is a European legend, but needs to restore the legend.
Yeah. I've got to ask you, Eric, because Marseille and Gomez, Angel Gomez, who done really well at Lille, never really established himself at Marseille, and there's links with him going to Coventry. Tell us what you're feeling, because he was in and out the team at Marseille.
Your question gives the answer. He's an in and out. He's a player who never really achieved at Marseille. At Wolverhampton, I think it was not a great success. If you mentioned that he might go to Coventry, it means that the big clubs are not looking at him. He's not on a up the hill career. To us, we have completely forgotten about him. When you are not a regular at Marseille, and Marseille was not having such a strong team where a player like him couldn't have a first choice on the field, it means a lot.
Yeah. Eric, thank you so much for your time this morning, French football expert Eric Bieldeman there. Thank you. Have a good day.
Cheers, Eric. Bye-bye.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Au revoir. You're listening to the Weekend Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT in partnership with Volkswagen Transporter. Drive away knowing Volkswagen have you covered with a 5+ promise. Terms and conditions and exclusions apply. Coming up next, let's discuss our top 5 managerial personalities. You can have your say. Who's your number one? 03717 22 3344. Pick up the phone, call us now, and you could be on talkSPORT. Good morning.
But the Vinny Jr. one was a audacious attempt, to say the least.
Big word for you.
I've been learning this book that I've been reading. They've got these big words in. I'm trying to keep them in my brain. No, but it was always going to be tough, Shebahn. Like, Vinny Jr. leaving Real Madrid to come to Arsenal, it just doesn't sound right. As Arsenal fans might get angry, I'll say it, but like, imagine Neymar Jr. at Barcelona. He's not going to leave Barcelona for Arsenal. They're always going to come to an agreement. Real Madrid aren't going to let a talent like that at 26. Do you know what I mean? What's he worth on the market? I know he's got a year left, but what's he worth, Vinny Jr.? Over 100 million easily. Real Madrid are never going to let that go. And Vinny Jr. in his mind won't want to leave Real Madrid. Imagine the crowds in Brazil, the people that love Vinny Jr. because he plays for Real Madrid. I just can't see it.
Well, that is interesting, because it was my understanding that it was if he wanted to leave Real Madrid. There's never been a...
willing to sacrifice our love.
I'm trying to think who sang this, As Cold as Ice. Come on, put me out of my misery.
Foreigner.
Foreigner, yeah.
Good morning, it's the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Shebahn Aherne, former Celtic striker Tony Cascarino. A little bit of cold as ice, nothing to do with the hot weather. Well, it's actually all to do with the hot weather, because there's a story going around today that the ices, the ice cream vans, are ripping us off.
Oh, don't start. No.
Because of the heat wave. So a classic 99 cone.
Yeah.
They need to change the name, because it ain't 99p no more.
No.
It's costing sometimes £7.
That must be central London.
Yeah,
I mean,
apparently some.
I mean, I pay regular for an ice cream of about £4, £4.50.
That's bonkers. I'd hand it back and let it melt in his hand. That's insane.
I know.
And then sometimes you do find yourself, you pop out now to get a pint of milk, a loaf of bread. I'll grab a bottle of water because I'm thirsty and on the go. 14 quid! How?
No, we've got into a position now. It's got so ridiculous shopping. How did we get here when it feels like 5 years ago it was half the price?
I know, and the shrinkflation cast.
Oh, that's everyone. It's compounded by that.
When
but
you
it's
open
madness.
up the ice cream, like I had a double caramel magnum the other day, and I was like, oh, could have fallen out. It's not like wrapped around it now, it's just hanging in there.
Yeah, just things have gone ridiculously expensive. and you know, it does, when you sit, you know, inflation, when it's a little, and you're going petrol, and it can vary from 150 and now it's over 160 in the southeast. You know,
yeah, it's nuts.
It's just gone. It goes up and down like, well, is it ever going? When does it ever come down to a decent level again? It's like a million miles away.
When will we ever not be skint?
Well, we're lucky that we're doing a job that. But like I always say to people, you know, and I'm going to be a bit of a granddad here on this one, right? But the 1970s, interest rates were over 20%. House prices were going up. One wage fed a family, okay? Fed a family. Paid for insurance. You know, you could buy your petrol. You could, you know, all the other things in life. Now, 2 wages are not enough for people.
No.
2 wages are not enough in a family. They're struggling on 2 wages.
Yeah.
How did we get here? I know there's subscriptions and all different things and outlets where you can pay way more money now than you used to for things that we never had. But it's madness that 1 wage was enough, and now we're in a world where 2's not.
I know. No, it's crazy. And the amount of families who have...
Yeah, couples who are together.
Mums and dads working 2 jobs.
Shebahn, people used to get on the housing market at a much younger age than they do now. And they can't get on it, and they've got to rent. I mean, how did we get here? I mean, it's quite easy it's a really business type question, but when you start looking at numbers of everything, you just think it's impossible.
Welcome to Times Radio.
Yeah, exactly. But it's amazing to me. I try and simplify and go, 1 wage was enough in 1970s and 2 wages are not enough in 2026.
Let's just go live on a beach somewhere. Just us.
Fines everywhere.
Yeah.
Everything you do is a fine.
Yeah. Oh, wow, we're having a right moan this morning.
Yeah.
Time now for our top 5 with the
though.
Volkswagen Transporter.
The top 5 of everything football on talkSPORT with the VW Transporter from VW Commercial Vehicles. Search VW Transporter.
Okay, this is our feature where we choose our top 5 of something every single week, because we're looking ahead to the new Jose Mourinho documentary on Netflix, and the producer is with us a little bit later on in the show. We are doing the top 5 manager personalities, the best manager personalities that we've seen in football. You can't really buy a personality these days either. Some people really struggle to have some crack. Get involved. You can let us know your thoughts on these as well. Number 5, Tony Cascarino. Who are we putting in there?
Well, I didn't really have an order in my head for this because it's, I mean, Harry Redknapp was a manager that I always found really interesting, the way that he would talk and some of the things he would say, you know, and his longevity in the game. There was one quote that says, I sorted out a team formation last night, laying in bed with my wife. When your husband's as ugly as I am, you want to talk football in bed. You know, what a line from Harry. And Harry's been he's been great with the media and his personality, and we see him on The Jungle, and so I would put Harry in there because he's just, we're not talking about winning things, we're talking about your personality as well, and he has one.
This is it. I'd agree with you on that.
Come on, you do 4.
In there at number 4, we've gone with Roy Keane at Sunderland. It says he's lost the dressing room once when he challenged his players in a shooting drill during training, and went in as the goalkeeper. Never shy of an arrogant opinion. For me, one of the best personalities around.
Yeah, I would go probably a little bit higher as a personality, because I saw a lot of The Island when he was assistant manager, Martin O'Neill as well, and some of the things he would say and how he wouldn't be bothered, about what people thought. I played with Roy for 8 years with Republic of Ireland. Some days you felt he was going to fire off and lose it completely, and he was a bit like that as a manager. When he walked in at Sunderland, he was like the Messiah. The Messiah. He took them from the bottom end, got them promoted. And some of the things he'd done along the way.
And he's not even afraid now to have a bit of banter when you watch the stick.
Well, he's much more light-hearted than he used to be.
Oh, of course, but when you watch him even with Jill Scott, and he's saying things to her that people go, you can't say that. He still says it, and he's funny.
Well, I've always given him stick about that he didn't like doing the media, and now he does with punditry. And I say give him stick, and if he just said owned it, I love doing it. He used to hate punditry.
Media king now.
But he's a huge personality. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And then at number 3, you've gone with Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah, shop steward. I could imagine being, having someone. I had a manager who was very similar to Klopp in his dynamism and just the way he would how he would think, and never. I mean, obviously I'm of a bias of being a Liverpool fan, but Klopp was an amazing personality. I think it's one of the biggest things that Liverpool lost when they lost Jurgen.
Yeah, he's in there at number 3, and then at number 2 we're putting in the late great Kevin Keegan, legendary Newcastle boss. The very famous rant, of course, comes from Kevin Keegan at the end of the 95-96 season when challenging Sir Alex Ferguson's Manchester United for the league, and after Fergie accused Newcastle's opponents of not trying as hard against them. Kevin absolutely lost it.
Yeah.
When you do that with footballers, like he said about Leeds, and when you do things like that about a man like Stuart Pearce, I've kept really quiet, but I'll tell you something. He went down in my estimation when he said that. We have not resorted to that, but I'll tell you, you can tell him now, if you're watching it, we're still fighting for this title, and he's got to go to Middlesbrough and get something. And I'll tell you, honestly, I will love it if we beat them. Love it.
Oh, it's just iconic.
I mean, I wouldn't have had Kevin as a personality up there as high as that, but if there's anyone who's wore their heart on their sleeve more than Kevin Keegan, I'd like to meet him, because he was that. That was his. And he'd done some great stuff in football. But a huge personality without that.
Yeah, and such a sore loss as well. And there at number 1, we have gone for Jose Mourinho. Undoubtedly the best character in football. Please do not call me arrogant, because what I say is true. I'm European champion. I'm not one out of the bottle. I think I'm a special one.
Yeah. I don't think there's a debate really on the biggest personality ever. I mean, we're not talking again about winning things and what he achieved. We're talking about him as a person, some of the things he said. I can always remember the interview when he came out, when he gave, had all the press in front of him, and he just went, I've won 3. Yeah. The other 19 have won 1 Premier League. And that line of how he was looking at everybody and just feeling what he was saying is, he would have upset a few. And look, and he would have upset a few Man United fans along the way. Yeah. That was Jose and Spurs fans, but an unbelievable personality.
Ever think you'll see him again in the Prem?
I'd love to think so, yeah, just because of what he is. He's absolute box office. But he's now at Real Madrid. And I did say earlier, Shebahn, how did he end up getting back the Real Madrid job?
I know.
His career looked like it was going downhill. I'd say downhill. It was just not going the way that you'd have felt someone Jose would have ended.
Yeah.
And then suddenly comes from nowhere and he's back at Real Madrid.
And the timing of this documentary is special because of that as well. Yeah. That was our top 5 this week. Managerial personalities, all thanks to the Volkswagen Transporter.
The top 5 of everything football on talkSPORT with the VW Transporter from VW Commercial Vehicles. Search VW Transporter.
You're listening to the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Coming up next, we'll head up the road to Bonnie, Scotland. A big day of action in the Scottish Prem. Good morning. thoughts on Vinicius Junior? Then Arsenal losing out in that. Were you hopeful or were you doubtful?
Do you know what? I was a little bit in the middle, really. I thought, look, he's a player that will be certainly improve Arsenal. There's no doubt about that. He's got so much talent. But also, he's at Real Madrid, like Andy Townsend said. Why would you want to leave Real Madrid, as Andy says? But whether he wanted a different change of lifestyle and whatever, whether he wanted to go to London, I don't know. But I think what he's done, he's played the market, isn't he? So he's gone, right, we know Arsenal are interested. His agent's probably going to Real Madrid. Well, Arsenal, we're thinking about going to Arsenal, and they've panicked a little bit, probably got an unbelievable deal now, 6-year contract. And he's gone, right, okay, yeah, I'll stay then.
Yeah.
Done. And so he's played both sides, really, which a lot of agents do, a lot of players do as well. But I was always 50-50, really. If he comes to the club, great. But if he doesn't, it's not the end of the world.
Absolutely, you move on from it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's absolutely dead now. He is staying at Real Madrid for 6 years, as you mentioned. Hello there, good morning. It's the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. It's Shebahn Aherne and former Chelsea striker Tony Cascarino. It's going to be a hot yin today.
Yes, that's why I've got my shorts and t-shirt on.
Oh, yes, so you do. Thank God you put your shorts on today. Sitting in your pants yesterday was too far. Yes, It's going to be a toasty one. Some of the headlines you're waking up to this morning: Bernardo Silva said he was thrilled to make his Real Madrid debut last night after their 2-1 friendly win over Hungarian side Ferencváros. Aston Villa director of football Damien Vidignani has confirmed Aston Villa in talks over a deal for Bayern Munich's Yal Polinia, and former England midfielder Dele has reportedly been training with West Ham United. Dele Alli's been without a club since leaving Serie A side Como in September 2025. Former Salford manager Carl Robinson talks talkSPORT Breakfast. He's back in the midfielder to make a return to football.
You heard all the podcasts that we listen to, and an awful lot of people who's talking an awful lot of things about how bad this person is or how difficult it is. We don't speak about the talent and how much we want to support these people. Now, he's had multiple chances to get himself back playing, so you can't blame everybody else, and you've got to look at yourself first and foremost. And at the end of the day, if he is given this opportunity, it is true, and he goes into West Ham and he hits the ground running. They know they're going to have such a talented footballer, but that's down to him.
Yeah.
It's not down to anybody else now. I think it's about him just putting his boots back on and just doing something that he loves.
Yeah.
I said, I think in talkSPORT about 4 or 5 years ago, it was a game of football just outside the studio on a little five-a-side. He'd be the first one in there playing.
Carl Robinson speaking to talkSPORT Breakfast the other day about Daly.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Well, he
against
needs
the
to be
young man.
excited. He needs something to give him the lift of, reigniting his career, because it's very hard for him to go to a club that's not going to have, a huge fan base who can, lift him. He needs that, because I just don't see a small club option for Dele Alli. I think if he can get excited by something, he can go, do you know what? I'm going to give my heart and soul, and I'm going to kick football back in the teeth here and prove to people how good I am. That could be the sort of signing that West Ham could make, only he's got to do a lot of proving.
Yeah, I mean, he's been through it, hasn't he? He's been through a hard time, and football being his first love, he would hope.
But imagine getting that gift of a big opportunity. I say that because that happened to me. So I was given the gift of Marseille when I was out of contract, and that was the biggest lift I ever had in my career.
Yeah.
And for Dele Alli, it could be the West Ham link and go, do you know what? He's going to give it his absolute all.
More on the website on daily, talksport.com. We did the top 5 managerial personalities.
Oh, we're getting out.
It's really hard to please everyone.
No, I
These are
know.
great
It was
suggestions. To be fair, Ian Holloway.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But Premier League, he was in the Premier League, wasn't he?
Yeah, Ian Holloway getting a lot of mentions here on the text. How the hell can he not be in there? Big Ange, good personality.
Yeah.
Terrible tactician. That's from a Spurs fan, Darren. What about Cloughie? A number of mentions on Brian.
Well, he wasn't in the Premier League, was he? Was he in the first year of the Premier League? Was it 92, 93?
Yeah,
first year. Okay. Oh, well, yeah.
The best
I didn't think
personality by far. That's from Andy the Brummie. Kevin Keegan, obviously, we put him in there as well.
Well, he could be you, Big Sam,
Neil Warnock's
Sean
in
Dyche, Neil Warnock.
Oh, Dyche will be hurt. He won't be happy with us.
No. But look,
yeah,
it's just an opinion. And I, like I said, really, apart from number one, because I thought Jose was the standout.
And the thing is, that's the thing about personality. Not everyone's going to like it.
No. Well, Fergie had a big personality. We've not mentioned him.
But he was almost like frightening as well at the same time.
Yeah.
I suppose all of them are. If they go off, I suppose it would be scary.
But there are some managers, that have got these huge personalities that are just fantastic to listen to.
Yeah. Speaking of big personalities, Steve Clarke is expected to be replaced soon. Well, the new manager is expected to be announced in Scotland. The search for the national team manager rumbles on. There was a post that came out yesterday saying that the FA are closing in an appointment in Scotland. So we'll wait and see what happens there. Stephen Naismith, who was Steve Clarke's assistant, odds-on favourite to become the new Scotland manager. Does that surprise you?
What, Steve?
Yeah.
Steve Naismith?
Stephen Naismith's the
I don't know. He's. I mean, obviously, I knew he was assistant to Steve Clarke. But look, the Scottish FA, if they see they want to make too much change in the system and the stability of the coaching with Scotland, they might well go, let Stephen Naismith take over.
Well, let's get their thoughts now with Scottish football reporter Paul Mitchell to give us more on this. Good morning to you, Paul.
Good morning. Paul.
Hi,
Good morning.
Paul. Good to see you, Paul. I mean, let's start there, shall we, with this the new Scotland boss coming in. Do you think it's going to be Stephen Naismith, and what's your thoughts on it?
It's likely going to be Stephen Naismith, and Stephen's been around the setup for a little while. He's got some experience, obviously, playing internationally. He was Hearts manager, and that didn't quite work out for him. Some might argue it's an unambitious appointment, just to appoint the guy who's next in line. But you've got to look around and see who potentially would it be. I mean, if this had been a couple of years down the line, Derek McInnes's name would have come in. David Moyes' name always comes up, but, it's the start of the season and he's at Everton. So Stephen Naismith looks like the logical choice. He's been involved with the group. The group's going to have to turn over. Scotland are going to have to change the squad slightly. And he's probably in the best place of anybody to do that at the moment.
Look, it's a big change in many ways, but if you're keeping with the stability of the Scotland coaching staff, that you just go, yeah. And look, Craig Bellamy walked into Wales. You've had others. Coleman did it with Wales as well. You saw it with England as well. So it's happened at many other national teams.
Yeah, I mean, Stephen's got a good pedigree. He's played international football. He knows all about it. He's got a very nice, easygoing manner, but he's also got that steel that's required, to be in a big job like this. So I think it's interesting because I think this is going to be an interesting point for Scottish football. But Scottish football have also talked about, there's a big summit coming up that the SFA have called to talk about grassroots football and why there's so few young Scottish players getting a chance at the big clubs. Now, you could have done that 10 years ago. You could have done that 20 years ago. You could have done it 25 years ago. Yeah. Nothing new under the sun. So either Scotland are going to embrace big change, or this is just going to be another meeting of folk getting together and nobody will bother in the end.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the Scotland job as well, I mean, I'm glad this summit is happening. Say it's been going on and on and on. Where is the young talent coming through in Scotland? But with regards to the new Scotland manager, how important will it be for Stephen Naismith, if it is him, to be on side with the media and make that part of the role as well? And a big part of the role, because I think it's a big part of it.
Yeah, it's just modern day football, isn't it? You've got to be on side with the media. You understand what they're there for. You understand why they're there. So you've got to, give them the stories, give them the information, be approachable, be affable. Now, that might not be easy, but that's part of being a manager nowadays. You've got to understand that, you're under scrutiny 24/7. I think what you've got to do is ignore the noise that perhaps comes on social media. I mean, if you ever go into social media to look for praise, you're in the wrong place.
Yeah.
So I think you've got to embrace the media. Stephen's savvy enough. He's worked on radio, he's worked on television, so he understands that side of the game. And I don't think that would be a problem for him. I think what would be a problem for him is the lack of Scottish talent coming through and getting the chance to play at the top level. Finlay Curtis is a great example. He came and played brilliantly at Kilmarnock at the end of the season after Danny Roll had popped him out on loan. He played pretty well. How much is Derek McInnes going to use him? Finlay Curtis is now a Scottish internationalist, but Derek McInnes is under pressure to win now. So that's why, we keep reading about Rangers are wanting to sign a winger. They're prepared to spend money because, being at Rangers might not be ideal for Finlay Curtis.
Yeah, I mean, just on the subject then of Stephen Naismith, before we focus on today, he did do a number of the press conferences when we were at the World Cup, because Steve Clarke doesn't do press unless it's on match day -1. And he was always actually a treat, very warm with the media. Lots of given answers, chatty, and obviously very well equipped. And I think he's on that kind of level with the players as well. Maybe that little bit younger, but a hell of a lot of experience as well. So we'll see how this one works out. Let's focus on the games today. Going to 4 o'clock, you mentioned Rangers. They take on Hibs. Huge game and a bit of pressure on Derek McInnes already.
It's incredible, isn't it? Game 3 for Rangers, and Derek McInnes is already under pressure. What Derek can do is try and assemble a squad. He's doing what all the managers that have come in, from Russell Martin to Danny Roll to himself, he's having to change a squad into the players that he wants, and that's not going to be easy. And to judge him after a couple of games is pretty harsh. And when you look back at how they played in Poland, I mean, individual errors, absolutely done for Rangers. Now, the manager can't really do much about that. You pick the team, you organise them, and then they don't play. I mean, if you were being fair, Derek McInnes needs 6 months to a year. He's at Ibrox. He might not get 6 months to a year if it doesn't work, as Russell Martin found out.
Yeah. Also, Kilmarnock take on Celtic at home.
This is fascinating. Celtic haven't always done down too well at Rugby Park. However, it is a new grass pitch that's been installed down there. The old carpet's been ripped up. And I think that's going to help everybody that goes down to Rugby Park. I think it'll also help Kilmarnock as well. Nobody wants to play on the artificial surfaces. So it'd be interesting to see. Kilmarnock were wide open against St Johnstone last week. They lost by 4-3. It was quite a crazy game, one of those games that can happen at the start of the season. It'd be interesting to see how Neil McCann goes, whether he sets out to try and frustrate Celtic, who are easily frustratable at the moment, or whether Celtic will just have too much. Celtic have spent a lot of money up front. Celtic fans are expecting goals.
What's the picture then with Martin O'Neill? Because obviously he had his operation, whatever happened there, his procedure, we believe. But it is going to be Sean Maloney today.
Yeah, Sean Maloney. I mean, Sean's got plenty of experience. He's been, manager of Hibs. He's been assistant manager for Belgium. He knows a match day. I mean, Celtic fans should have no fear, and Sean Maloney will be, deep in conversation with Martin O'Neill. They'll know exactly how they want to play. So if I was a Celtic fan, I wouldn't be worried about this. And 1 or 2 games with Sean Maloney going in. I think it might be slightly more concerning for Celtic if they don't get him back for the European matches.
Yeah, this is true. Paul, thank you for your time. Enjoy the day, okay?
Cheers, Paul.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, guys.
Lovely stuff. Kilmarnock Celtic is at 1:30. Hearts Dundee United at 3, as is Motherwell against Falkirk, and then Rangers take on Hibs. At 4 o'clock, we'll have all the updates for you here on talkSPORT. You're listening to the Weekend Sports Breakfast. Coming up, we'll ask whether Arsenal signing Bruno Guimaraes has guaranteed them the title. Let's prick your ears up already. Gunners, good morning. No smoke without fire. Of course not. He is interested in the Arsenal project.
Arsenal
if he's to leave Real Madrid.
Arsenal going for Vinny Jr. is like me sending Rihanna a message on Instagram saying that I'd love you to come to the Bullring in Birmingham. I want to take you around Birmingham on a date. Like, it's not going to happen. Like, he's not leaving Real Madrid to come to Arsenal. 1 league title in over 20 years. Can't win a Champions League in their whole existence. He's not going to come to Arsenal. He's used Arsenal to get an extra 5, 6, 7, 8 million pound a year, and he's going to sign a new contract at Arsenal. Sign a new contract at Real Madrid. Simple. What he's doing. Arsenal been used.
Did you ever shoot your shot with Rihanna though? Did you ever do it?
I might have. Yeah, I might have. That's private business. I might have.
But the point is, we know that Arsenal have made a go at Vinicius Junior, so they've tried.
And maybe I tried, and it didn't work out.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
Yeah, but it's not going to work out. It's not going to work out for Arsenal, is it?
You make me cringe.
No, 1 league title in over 20 years. Never won the Champions League. Can't sit at the big table of the Champions League winning clubs like Villa, Nottingham Forest, Celtic. And you think you're going to go and sign Vinny Jr., the fan base that Vinny Jr.'s got in South America because he plays for Real Madrid.
Good morning. You're listening to the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Shebahn Aherne Tony Cascarino. Your headlines this morning: Burnley prevailed 4-3 in a penalty shootout to book a place in the second round of the EFL Cup, after the Championship club had been held to a 1-1 draw by League One at Notts County at Turf Moor. Rangers women were knocked out of the Champions League qualifying following a dramatic final few minutes, as Shrida Spitz's penalty kick secured Ajax a place in the playoff round. And also Sheffield United travelled to Mansfield today in the EFL Cup. That's live on talkSPORT 2. Ahead of the game, Chris Wilder believes his side have not invested enough into the squad.
Certainly work to be done in recruitment. We're light in a couple of positions. We understand that. And I do get the frustration as well, Rob, that what people want to see signings come in. But we're working really hard. We're a little bit disappointed that we've missed out on a couple, but we're missing out on good players. But the work continues on the training ground, heading towards the weekend, and on the recruitment in terms of getting us in a better place for Birmingham and before the window shuts.
Chris Wilder there. Are you going to disagree with your mate on that one? Or what do Sheffield United need to progress in the Championship?
Well, I think they're suffering. I don't know. I haven't spoke to Chris this summer. We've messaged each other, but no more than that, and just see if he's okay. Look, they spent a lot of money last year trying to get a side together to challenge, and they started disastrously. Spent a lot of money on loans. A number of players have gone out of the club. I think Alan Neil, his assistant, has left as well. So there's a lot that's changed at Sheffield United. But Chris has always done business. He likes doing transfers of players that he thinks improves the team, keeps bolstering the squad, and I think there'll be a frustration from him and like the fans have already got. I mean, the Blades, you'd like to think under normal circumstances, and remember they ended up 13th after being in a dire position in the league when Chris walked back into the football club. Mm-hmm. So, you know, you'd have thought they'd have been one of the favourites maybe to make the playoffs or something, but at the moment, fans are getting frustrated because they're not seeing anything done.
Mm-hmm. And you can hear that from Chris Wilde.
That's on the club.
Yeah. Today, 4 o'clock over on talkSPORT 2, Mansfield take on Sheffield United in the Carabao Cup first round. We'll keep you posted on that. Now, I'm looking at today's back pages for you. A lot of focus on Bruno Guimaraes. The transfer we knew was happening for quite some time, but now he has his official pictures in the Arsenal shirt. No need for AI anymore. He's been in, he's had his photo shoot done, and he's signed from Newcastle United to the Gunners for $75 million. The 28-year-old Brazil midfielder on a 4-year deal with the option of a further 12 months. Do you think he suits the red?
Well, he's another, really high-level footballer that adds to Arsenal's midfield. So, yeah, I think it's a really good signing. I mean, if he plays anything like he did for Newcastle, they've got a good player there.
Yeah, apparently there's been text messages between him and Declan Rice.
Oh, yeah.
Who usually have a little bit of,
argy-bargy.
Ooh.
Well, I won't be doing it now. They'd be best mates.
Apparently handbags is now not a nice term to use, but that is proper hand. You can't call that a fight.
No, that's...
Yeah.
That's argy-bargy.
Argy-barge.
A bit of argy-bargy and no more.
It's offensive to those who actually get in fights. Let's talk more about Arsenal now with the deluded Gunner himself, CJ Needham. Good morning to you, CJ. How's it going?
Good morning,
CJ.
guys. Hi, guys. Morning. I'm great. Yourselves? As you said, Bruno's about to change our lives, man. It's a fantastic
Well, what, in a good way or a bad way? Because you were champions last year, CJ.
I mean, being champions, you've got to go and do bigger and better. And Bruno G, as you said, if he does anything that he did in a Newcastle shirt and an Arsenal shirt, it's going to be amazing. And I actually will go one better, I think. With Declan Rice and Bruno G, I think that's the best partnership in the midfield in the Premier League. And I actually think in the Premier League, when you look at, Bruno G, you look at Declan Rice, you look at Zubimendi, you look at Miles Lewis-Skelly and all the others, we've probably got the best collective options in the Premier League at the moment now.
Yeah. So you're going to win everything then?
Oh, I don't know about the Premier League, Champions League. We probably need a bit more stuff.
I'll tell you, what you'd say, CJ, is that Arsenal have done what they absolutely have to do is keep that momentum and bringing in players and knowing everyone around them is going to look at Arsenal as the team to beat this year.
Exactly. I mean, that's how you stay champions, by signing players of this ilk. I know we're not Man United, and I know Arteta's not Sir Alex Ferguson, but Sir Alex Ferguson used to cherry pick the best of the rest all the kind of time. So I think it's a step in the right direction, and it's a full circle moment, because I remember when he went to Newcastle, Arsenal fans wanted Bruno G. Edu tried to get him. Arteta notoriously didn't think he was good enough at the time, but 4, 5, 6 years later, it makes sense. Now, again, we've got a target on our backs, being the Premier League winners, and this is the kind of signings you want. It's a level raiser. We've got good problems in the middle of the park now. We don't actually know who starts in central midfield. If we assume it's a 3-man midfield, and obviously behind an Eze and Odegaard, you've got a pivot. There's 4 high quality players, better yet, competing for 2 roles. So make sure Mikel Arteta can't leave you out, which is great for us Arsenal fans.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of a pivot, with not getting Vinicius Jr. and him staying at Real Madrid, where do you go next from here? We were talking about Bradley Barcola is very heavily linked to Liverpool. There's no way Arsenal could make a hijack there?
I mean, it'd be lovely to see a hijack, as you stated there, but you would imagine Liverpool did the groundwork. Listen, anything that's not Vinicius Jr. after the protracted transfer links is going to feel like a letdown. It's going to feel underwhelming. And I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but if I'm completely honest with you guys, there isn't really a left winger, if it wasn't going to be Vinicius, that screams out to me that I really want you. Like, I'm not 100% convinced of anyone. If I had to pick, I would probably pick Nico Williams, but we've been linked with Nico Williams, Marcus Rashford, with Rafa Leao, with Nusa, with even Bradley Barcola. It's going to be a lot of money, but is he of that level? So there isn't anyone that screams and shouts. But
you want one?
Yeah, of course I want one, but it's difficult. Like,
You ain't getting him. You ain't getting him. I'll give you Kvaratskhelia.
I mean, it'd be absolutely amazing, but I think we've got to get them guys before they're at PSG, man. That's like Christmas come early. We've got no chance there.
I know, but look, exciting season. Yeah, I'm sure you and all the Arsenal fans are looking forward to the defence. And more signings you still think to come, CJ?
It's got to be, man. Like, I couldn't tell you who, and I know we've got Zolis, but we probably need another left winger, a game changer in that regard. We probably need another defender of sorts owing to Saliba's injury. And indirectly, we've been linked with a striker. I would say either Gyökeres or Kai, depending on what Arsenal fan you ask, don't 100% convince you. So I think as a minimum, we need 2 signings. Ideally, it'd be 3, but there's still work to do. In Berta and Arsenal, we trust.
And obviously, you're losing some players, and Gabriel Jesus looks like he's at the club, or it's been agreed. So it's been a servant coming from Man City. You're sort of moving on from that time now, aren't you?
It has to be, man. One thing about Arsenal, at times we haven't always moved on from players when they needed to move on. And I'm happy with the Gabriel Jesus's, the Trossards, potentially Benjamin White. I'm not sure, owing to injuries in defence, that you're actually going to depart when we've won the Premier League. Gabriel Jesus changed our lives, man. I'll never forget the first 6 months. It was amazing for us. But unfortunately, time catches up with everyone. And he's had 2 massive injuries. And he's one of our highest earners. And you can't guarantee he's going to be in the starting lineup or actually the squad. So it's good for all parties that the likes of him, the Fabio Vieiras, the Reece Nelsons, and a couple more probably move on so we can reinvest.
Yeah, I mean, CJ, I always like that you've called yourself the deluded Gunnar. That's your stage name. And Gabby called all Arsenal fans, Gabby Agbonlahor called them all deluded earlier on this week when it came to Vinicius Junior. But listen, you've got promises now, CJ, with the new season ahead. You lot have got to be calmer, all right? You've got to be less infuriating for the rest of us this season, okay?
I can't guarantee that, but we'll be here every step of the way.
Nobody wants us to win.
They don't, and that's why it's sweeter when we do.
CJ, have a good one. Thanks for your time.
Cheers, CJ. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Peace.
All the best. Deluded Gunnar, CJ Needham with us.
Good talker,
He's
CJ.
great.
Really good talker about Arsenal and talks about the football club that he loves, and also is some of the things he's saying about who you have to move on. Which you do have in football clubs. Your club, Manchester United, did it brilliantly for years. When it was time, they moved on.
Yeah, I mean, because the Odegaard one going around kind of over the summer, there was a thought that perhaps he would be leaving.
I wouldn't let him go.
Yeah.
I wouldn't let him go.
Yeah.
I'd be like, if it was an indifferent year again, because when Odegaard's at his best, I think he's a hell of a player. He had a lot of injuries in the last 2 years, especially last year. He was out for about 4 months last year.
Yeah.
He was out for quite a period of time anyway. And Martin Odegaard will always offer, and I think he's a foil for Saka as well on the right.
Yeah.
He plays his best football, Saka, when Odegaard's inside him.
Yeah.
So, again, that's an option you want to keep.
You wonder if Arsenal will still make a big move. Like say they had the money to go in for Vinicius Junior, not obviously the money that Real Madrid had.
Yeah.
But they had a good punt. You wondered if they will make a bit of a landmark marquee signing
I think
between now and the window closing.
I think their revenue last year reached 770 million. So they have a massive improvement in, revenue coming into the football club.
Yeah.
So, Arsenal are going to go. I think there's another really big one for them to go.
Interesting.
It's not Kvaratskhelia, but it's going to be a big one.
Okay, you're listening to the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT in partnership with Volkswagen Transporter. Get complete peace of mind with Volkswagen's 5+ promise. Terms and conditions and exclusions apply. Coming up next, we'll discuss the brilliant new Jose Mourinho documentary. Producer of the show, Miles Coleman, will be with us in the studio next. Morning.
Barcelona are now leading the race to sign Rodri from Manchester City, notwithstanding the loss that would be to City in a new era under Enzo Maresca. What's the latest on that? And is it the case that Real Madrid have dropped the ball here? Because it seemed to be, reading reports, that Real Madrid were in the driving seat with this one.
Yeah, Rodri wanted Real Madrid earlier in the window, and Florentino Perez hadn't decided what kind of midfielder he was going for, which is why several names were linked, including Enzo Fernandez, and Real had to issue a statement saying we've had no contact with Enzo Fernandez. Jose Mourinho came in. Finally, they got the mandate from Perez to start negotiating financially, but Barca have basically hijacked this, although some sources say Barca were there even before the window opened, and it was Real that kind of steamrolled in. And ultimately, Rodri, for family reasons, wants to go to Spain, but we've got a fascinating scenario now. Man City want to keep. Pep Guardiola never used to stand in players' ways, especially senior ones that had been long-serving and
Football fans all have stadiums we love, but do any of us have a pitch that we love? It might sound like an odd question, but pitches can be different sizes with big consequences. Why is that? And what are the actual rules? Back when association football started, pitches could be up to 100 metres wide and 200 metres long. That's longer than Ellen Road. Not the pitch, the stadium. Anyway, UEFA wanted a standard across Europe for international matches, which became 105 metres long and 68 metres wide. But some clubs had been rebels, not intentionally, but because of the stadiums. Take Highbury, for example. It was 5 metres shorter and a metre narrower, meaning away sides had a challenge to adjust. White Hart Lane was exactly the same. And actually, when Spurs temporarily moved to Wembley, they asked the FA to shorten the pitch. The FA, very offended by the sacrilegious suggestion, said no, which in fairness could have actually benefited Tottenham, because when they moved into their shiny new stadium, the pitch was exactly the same size as Wembley's. Today, Forest pitch at the City Ground is a big one. It's 2 metres wider than any other pitch in the Premier League. But the smallest of all, Craven Cottage, just 100 metres long and 65 wide. No excuse for not tracking your man. There are a couple of crazy outliers in Europe too. At Napoli's home ground, the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona, the pitch is a whopping 110 metres long. At least they don't play on a slope like Newcastle do. There's a 2-metre incline on the pitch at St James's Park. And don't get me started on the old pitch at Yeovil too. It used to be a slant of 2 metres corner to corner and across the halfway line. So UEFA have their standards. So do the FA, but they do give pitches in England some wiggle room. Pitches can be anywhere between 90 and 120 metres long and between 45 and 90 metres wide. I mean, the rules state you can't have a square pitch, but in theory you could have one that's 91 metres long and 90 wide. Imagine rocking up to play a Sunday League game and the pitch is basically a square. So there are rules and regulations on sizes, with a UEFA standard that roughly everyone follows. But as we all know, size doesn't matter, does it?
Good morning, you're listening to the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. My name's Shebahn, alongside the one and only Tony Cascarino.
Good morning.
So the Carabao Cup has returned, as has live football here on talkSPORT. West Ham welcome back life in the EFL with a 3-1 win over Pompey.
The Hammers are happy on the opening weekend of the season. The final score at the London Stadium is West Ham 3, Portsmouth 1.
Happy West Ham fans this morning. In other news, Tonda Eckhart, Southampton also got off to a winning start. They won 2-0 away at Colchester.
Here comes Southampton. Akachukwu is into the area, checks onto his left foot and scores! A brilliant moment for the young man. His first Southampton goal.
And we're asking the question, what are some of your favourite sporting documentaries? Coming up shortly, we'll be chatting to the director and one of the producers for the latest football documentary on this legend.
Please don't call me arrogant, because what I'm saying is true. I'm European champion, so I'm not one of the bottle. I think I'm a special one.
Iconic. It's the Weekend Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT. Good morning. Morning to you. Yeah, Cass, we've been talking about our favourite sport and documentaries all show this morning. Everybody's been getting in touch about these. There's a huge one coming up for you on the 11th of August on Netflix. We've had the pleasure of being able to watch the early release. This one is on Jose Mourinho, coming out on Netflix on the 11th of August. Here's a wee preview.
I was born in football. I live in football. Every day of my life. When I walk from the dressing room to the pitch is the last moment where I think about the people that I love. After that, I am in another world.
It's absolutely incredible. 3-part documentary here on Jose Mourinho. Miles Coleman, who's the producer on the show, is with us now. Good to see you.
Hi, Miles. Hi, guys. Thank you for having me in. Thanks for letting us talk about a bit about Jose Mourinho this morning.
Yeah,
a little bit to say on this guy.
Well, I'm super excited, as Shebahn is, because Shebahn watched it last night. I saw quite a number of the highlights, and obviously I know his career as well. It's an incredible character. Just tell us a little bit of in-depth stuff with what you've done in the documentary, Miles.
Yeah, so the idea was to make the definitive documentary about Jose Mourinho, kind of the bells and whistles. It's out on Netflix on Tuesday. And when you have someone who's had a career, I mean, as he says it in our film, he's been winning for 20 years. He's been managing for sort of coming up to 25. And before that, which we get into our documentary, you know, he's assistant at Barcelona. He's had this incredible career. It's like, where do you begin? How do you tell the story of a guy? You know, if you're a Chelsea fan listening to this, you could just listen. You could do 10 episodes on his time at Chelsea. I'm sure there'll be people in Portugal like, just give me the Porto story. And so what we try to do in our 3 episodes is not just do like the kind of the Wikipedia page version of Jose. He went from this club, that club, signed that player. We try to answer the question, who is this guy, right? Who is this guy who's dominated headlines, who's dominated front pages, back pages? Some people love him, some people hate him, and some people love and hate him. And what we try to do is like figure out what makes him tick, what's made him so successful. And I hope we've got close to that. I hope that, you know, when people watch this, it doesn't matter if you've, you know, supported a Jose team or not, you'll watch our film and go, wow, I really get more about this guy than ever before.
Well, I feel like it was a complete education in a way as well, Miles. But when you mentioned some people love him, some people hate him, the one thing that really stood out to me is how he's gone through his life feeling that nobody likes him because his old man, his dad, was so idolised and so loved. And he almost had a bit of an insecurity, it seems, when you watch the documentary, that he always felt, nobody likes me, so I have to be extra special at this.
Yeah, I think so much of his personality can be traced back to his childhood. Yeah. And what I love about that is he massively disagrees. He talks about it in the doc. He's like, he's not interested in people's childhoods. You know, he told us off camera once that he'd watched a documentary that we'd worked on about Boris Becker, but he fast forwarded the bits where Boris Becker was talking about his childhood and he just wanted to watch the sport. He just wanted to watch the action. And for someone who's basically made his job in sort of psychology, right? As a manager, you're a psychologist. He's remarkably, like he says, that's not what he's interested in. But I think, and like you say, like your question says,
so stand out,
completely stand out. I think so much of his life, you know, he talks about it in the doc about how his dad shaped him, and his dad was this beloved, sweetheart, nicest guy in the world. And he sort of said, well, I'm going to go the opposite way. I'm going to be the tough guy. I'm going to be the guy who you can't be hurt by criticism, who's going to take one for the rest of the team. I'm going to shoulder the criticism.
So I mean, did you get a chance to interview his mum or speak about his mum? Because did his mum have them traits of her personality where she was way more demanding?
Yeah. So his family aren't in it, and that kind of tells its own story, if you know what I mean. Like,
I love that he still drives past his mum's house and he says sometimes she'll look out the window and she'll wave out when he's driving his Ferrari. Like, so he's very humble. He's still got that humble beginnings in Portugal. He still kind of very much so loves that part of his childhood. It's amazing that he says it's not linked to childhood.
Yeah, it's he's a man of a lot of contradictions, and I think anyone who's watched the Jose Mourinho team will feel that, right? You'll watch Jose's teams battle out a 1-0, and then he'll do his press conference when he says, oh, actually, we played free-flowing attacking football. And, you know, he's that kind of character. What the myth of the man and the man himself are two different things, and that's what we try to get under the skin a little bit.
So what about does he go down any road of any failure at any time?
You know, would he see Manchester United as a failure, or Spurs, or, you know, for the fans listening? Because, you know, it wasn't all... He had an amazing career and has been a brilliant manager, but there was difficult times in there.
Yeah, there is a moment in the documentary when our director, Joe Perlman, sort of challenges him, you could say, on this, says, what do you think about your later career? And it was the most awkward silence I have.
Yeah.
Like, people say you could cut it with a knife. You could cut that one with a spoon. It was. And then he says, and then he switches. He goes from this kind of, you know, real glare where you're like, oh, I know what it must be like to be dropped by Jose, because that glare is intense. And then he goes, I did it. I got to a European final with Spurs. And, you know, we've all heard the lines, right? Finishing second with United, great. So, you know, we get that. So, you know, to answer your question, did we get into the failure? No, but again, that's kind of the point with him, right? He doesn't say, oh yeah, I failed and that's my bad, that's on me.
He doesn't admit to any sort of failures. Like, I'm a successful person. Like, what have you, like, the way he lists off his achievements, he's so confident in himself. How much time did you get to spend with him to make this show? And who was your favourite person to interview? Because it's littered with stars as well.
Yeah, so we spent a lot of time with him. We spent hours and hours. I think we did 20 plus hours of interviews. And this isn't the case with a lot of documentaries, but he would have lunch with the crew. And you know, I'm talking like eating out of takeaway containers. And he would just come join us, chat. We'd go for dinners with him. So we spent a lot of time with him. And he was very generous with his time. And actually, like, quite down to earth. No airs and graces, no retinue. And, you know, just would, you know, when we didn't organise an interview, I just WhatsApp him. Are you free on this day? No. What about this day? Yeah, cool. Like, very, very down to earth and approachable in that sense. In terms of the players, I mean, it was just, we drew up this laundry list of all, and it was just all these players that the most magnificent footballers. And there are people who were just interviewing Zlatan Ibrahimovic and spending time with him. He's just the coolest guy. Yeah. He was just aura and charismatic. And here's the one thing that unites them all. They all have so much time for Jose. You know, I'm sure you guys will know this is not always easy to get hold of footballers and pin people down for interviews. These guys, you'd message them and they say, for Jose, anything, where do you want me? Time and place, let's go.
Yeah.
He's got an amazing hold over them and they've all got love for them, even the ones with a complicated relationship.
Well, he was the Messiah, wasn't he? If you take the Inter period, and obviously Chelsea, and I'd probably go Porto as well in there, that they followed him and the players would follow him, and he signed players that he'd had previously before, and they would run through brick walls for him.
Yeah, it is amazing. And I think the way that we do the documentary, we actually start with Chelsea, and then you go through his career and we do a sort of last look back, and you look at him today in 2026, and when you look at him as a young guy in Chelsea, suave, cool, completely in control. You remember the aura he had. I remember as a football fan, I'm a United fan, I remember his Chelsea team, and I remember thinking, may as well give up and go home. United are never going to win anything again. This guy's got it sewn up. It was like he had just such a control on football, control on his players, control on everyone.
I love his respect. I mean, as a Manchester United fan, you know, his love and adoration for Sir Alex Ferguson. He's in the documentary as well. And it goes both ways. I mean, he's got a hell of a lot of respect as well for Jose Mourinho. The archives, the footage that we see in this, even from him being a wee boy, from watching his dad play football, going through all of this, I just have to state the obvious. What a handsome man I mean, even now, but then, I mean, he's absolutely drop dead gorgeous.
Yeah, which is really funny because, like, managers weren't cool, right? You got, like, nowadays, half the managers in the Premier League are European, they're kind of suave, intellectuals, but back at that point, it just wasn't the case. And Jose completely changes the game. And one of the things you realise that he did was he says it himself, opened the door for coaches who were not top players. And you look at the Premier League now, you look at the managers we have now, most of them wouldn't be there without Jose Mourinho coming in and saying, listen, I don't have to be a Champions League winner. Point is, I'm really good at managing this team, and you can respect me even though I don't have the kind of the dressing room cred. But to your point, he does still have this chip on his shoulder, I think. He still sees himself as an outsider. And, you know, if you look at, he respects some managers, but there are some managers he's had real feuds with, and Wenger and Benitez and many others. I still think he butts up against the managers where he feels, oh, actually, they're in the establishment, they're in the club, I'm not in the club. And they go mano a mano on that.
I mean, the amount of languages as well that he learned when you see him in that inter-press conference when he sits down and one of the journalists says, are you looking to bring in some Chelsea players? He said, why are you asking me about Chelsea players? And then he swears at him and the whole room erupts and he's got everyone in the palm of his hands. I mean, like say, just suave, smooth operating.
Well, he was the king of the press conference, without a doubt. You know, I mean, I've been in a few with Jose, listened to him. I mean, I remember when he came into the News International building and literally there was loads of people wanting to see him, wanting to, you know, just catch a glimpse of him, and he had that character. Now, you may not want to answer this question, or you would, Miles. Give us your feelings about Jose from a personal view from you, how you feel about him now.
Oh, that's a really interesting question, because you spend a lot of time with him, but it's, you know, we're doing a job. It's a professional context, and our job is not to be his best mate. Our job is to understand him and do kind of the best job we can for our viewers. And he is a really compelling, interesting person. I have a really different perspective on him now on a personal level to what I started. I think, like a lot of football fans, right, I look at the world of football and I think it's so glamorous. It's amazing. They earn loads of money. They get to play in these packed stadiums. What a great life. If I could be a footballer tomorrow, I wish I could. And you spend time with him and you realize how hard the grind is. Yeah. Like, you know, I'll give an example. We did a lot of our filming with him, and he was at Fenerbahce at this time. So we were going to Istanbul. And we'd go spend time with him at the training ground, and he'd be sleeping at the training ground. So he'd go, he'd train, he'd prepare the next day, he'd do his analysis, sit with his scouts, blah, blah, blah. And then he would sleep in a single bed in the training ground, kind of bare walls, so he could get up and train the next day. And there was nothing glamorous or romantic, or you realize his job exists beyond the weekend to weekend when you see his team play. The job is Monday to Friday, analysing. And I think as a fan, as much as anything, I realise it's much harder than what it appears. It's much less glamorous. It's much less romantic.
Yeah. I mean, the way he was, there's a period in it where he's gone through a very hard time. I shouldn't spoil the whole thing, but I kind of have, where his wife goes through a hard time and they have a baby, and then he loses a sister at the same time on this 3-month period while he's literally on the road. Is he assistant to Van Gaal at this point?
Yeah, he's assistant to Bobby Robson. He's at Barcelona.
Even being Bobby Robson's translator. Like, you know, the job that he had to just get himself in it. It's a fantastic watch. It's a work of art. I have to say, I loved it. Thank you.
Mark at September 11th, and I'm definitely that'll be on my bucket list that day.
August 11th.
August 11th.
Don't wait till September to watch it.
Sorry, I meant to say August.
Yeah.
I forgot what month we're in. So I can't wait.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Really good stuff. Miles Coleman, producer of the show. Mourinho coming out on Netflix on Tuesday, the 11th of August. Thank you very much for coming.
This Tuesday.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, lovely stuff, Miles. Thank you. It's the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. We'll get your sporting odds with Coral coming up next.
I anticipate Arsenal to absolutely go again and just be as good as they've been this season. The key element for me on the title this year is Rodri. If Rodri's a Manchester City player throughout the whole course of the season, Manchester City will win the league.
That's a shouting off, that is, isn't it?
Do you disagree? If Manchester City lose Rodri and he goes to Real Madrid, they will not win the league.
I know what you're saying, but I look at it as well from because Anderson's coming, isn't he?
Yeah. So he's not Rodri.
I know he's not Rodri.
But he'll benefit from playing alongside him.
Yeah, that would happen.
But if you leave him on his own in there, I think you've got carnage.
I do know what you're saying, but I think there's more of a factor that Maresca might not be up for it either. You don't know yet.
I think he's up for it.
You reckon he's up for it?
I think he's up for it.
We'll see.
He knows that club. He's been at that club. He understands how that club works.
You're talking like a real Manchester City supporter.
He went to Chelsea. He did.
Are you Blackburn? You're a Blackburn fan, yeah?
Yeah,
hold on a minute.
We'll talk about their dismal summer in a minute.
What about the other teams?
Why are you doing this? Why are you deflecting?
Well, I'm just trying to say.
All I was doing was talking about the Premier League title race. That's all I was saying. And I was just saying that the big impact, the key piece of information for me is Rodri being a Man City player throughout the whole course of the season. And if he is, Manchester City will win the league.
Cool, but that's a shout.
Do you not think so?
So where was he last season?
Getting back from his ACL, mate. Do you not think so?
No, listen, mate.
Good morning, it's the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. My name's Shebahn Aherne, alongside former Gillingham and Marseille striker Tony Cascarino.
Yes. Good morning. That was interesting, wasn't it?
Yeah,
how interesting was that?
I know. And then you stand up and you're like, so what was he really like?
Well, there's just, there's so much you could ask questions. And for listeners, to bringing in, because he's managed so many different clubs as well. Managing Manchester United, Tottenham, Chelsea. Do you see what I mean? They're like three major clubs in the country.
And even actually when you see the documentary in full as well, and he's right. So episode 1 starts with him arriving at Chelsea.
Yeah.
And then going on to win the league and back-to-back titles, and then the Roman Abramovich inserting himself a little bit more and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And then it goes to Porto and to him as a young lad in Portugal and his dad and whatever like that. But as a Celtic fan, it doesn't show the Porto win the way the Celtic fans see the Porto win.
Yeah.
So there's...
that was a controversial game in itself, wasn't
it? Very much so was,
yeah.
But the documentary is tailored about Jose being... winning it, in the way that they won it. That was the iconic NFL tune, by the way, from Fox. We're playing that because the Baltimore Ravens were joined by a very special guest this week. Spain and Barcelona winger and World Cup final winning goal scorer Ferran Torres was there. Look at this.
Game-winning goal in the World Cup, right? Cool thing was, he came off the bench that game, correct? Yeah. He came off the bench, so his number was called. To come off the bench in the World Cup, and in extra time, he scores the game-winning goal. Uno, dos, tres.
All the best.
It was 0-0 at the end, right?
He was lucky, He was lucky.
Ferran Torres in training with the Ravens this week. If you were watching that, you'll see it on our smart TV. If you're watching on Samsung TV Plus or on the YouTube channel, it just shows you, Cass, taking your chance, right?
Yeah.
Jess Minter there, the Ravens coach, caught up upon off the bench.
Yeah, I mean, it's great.
Hell yeah.
I mean, he's got winning goal in a World Cup final. He's actually a really good player. I mean, it's a pity because he was at Manchester City for a couple of years and never quite forced himself into the team. And obviously getting the opportunity to go back to Barcelona. And again, he's found himself in and out of the team. And he's going to, if he does join PSG, which looks very likely, he's going to a team where he'll probably be in and out of the team again. And he's a really good player. Still pretty young. I think he's about 25, 26. So yeah, interesting, really good.
Well, he's on a bit of a celebration tour at the moment as well. That was him with the Ravens. It's time now to get our latest odds with Coral.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for the fans this season. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Good morning to you, John Hill. How are you, sir?
Hi, John.
Good morning, Shebahn. Good morning, Kaz. It's been a while since we've spoken, Shebahn, hasn't it? Keeping well?
I'm well, thanks, buddy. Good. I'm winning. How are you?
Oh, yeah, winning as well. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing that Jose documentary. That should be an absolute cracker, shouldn't it? Really looking forward to seeing that come out. Just a great manager, really. One of the, the best of our generation, I'd say. You just remember him arriving to the Premier League, that arrogant, cocky, Portuguese young manager. Came in, his first conference and said, I'm the special one, didn't he? And he backed it up, didn't he?
See, that's the thing, John. Episode 1 really focuses on that, him sitting down and calling himself the special one. We was asked what makes you special, And I think then it blew well out that he sat down and says, I'm a special one. It does give it a lot more context. Just to
Absolutely. But he
Josie
backed it up, didn't he? As I say, he put pressure himself by saying that. He arrived as a Champions League winner. And I think he had a great career here. And obviously back at Real Madrid now, isn't he? And it could be more chapters in the story of Jose Mourinho, the manager.
Exactly. Speaking of chapters, let's focus on Scottish football up the road. Kilmarnock against Celtic today is at 1:30. There's Motherwell Falkirk, Hearts Dundee, and then Rangers Hibs is at 4:00. What's the odds looking like?
Yeah, obviously Celtic won favourites today, Shebahn. They're 2-5 to beat Kilmarnock. I think it was a slow start to the season by all accounts last week, that 1-0 victory. But they are firm favourites, Celtic, to defend their crown, 4-7 for the title this season. Celtic, Rangers are 7-4, and then Hearts went so close last year. I think all the neutrals, certainly in England, were cheering on Hearts last season. It's going to be hard to back that up, isn't it? They're 14-1. I just wanted to see somebody different, really. Shebahn, obviously, Celtic and Rangers obviously dominated, haven't they, over the last couple of decades? But they came close, didn't they, Cass? But just fell short.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just fell short. We have got today. We got more Carabao Cup games, and we got Mansfield taking on Sheffield United. So a decent game, and it's been quite decent over the last couple of days, hasn't it? With watching the games, Friday night till yesterday, some good matches.
Yeah, I like it, Cass. I think it's been a good start to the season. Obviously, the manager's getting a chance to get some competitive football. If we didn't have this round of Carabao Cup, we'd be playing friendlies, wouldn't we? So I like it, and this should be a good game today. I just did a bit of research on it this morning. Apparently, they knocked them out of the FA Cup last season, Mansfield Town. They beat Sheffield United 4-3 in an absolute cracker. So if you get anything like that...
That was away, wasn't it? It was at Bramall Lane as well, I think.
It was, absolutely. So they could have their number today, the Stags. And look, Sheffield United are favourites, 19-20, shade of odds on. But Mansfield, 14-5 for the victory. The draw, 13-5. Just looking at Sheffield United, apparently they've had a quiet summer. Just one transfer so far for Chris Wilder's side. That was a free transfer. So it's been a very quiet summer there in Sheffield, in the Yorkshire. So they'll be looking to do some business before this window closes, obviously, at the end of the month. But this should be a good game today. But my side, Rochdale, we were beaten by Bradford yesterday. So we're out to the Carabao Cup. So we concentrate on the league next week. Never mind.
You will do. And Mansfield versus Sheffield United is live for you on talkSPORT 2 at 4:00 today. John, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Cheers, have a good day, guys.
Lovely stuff. That was a look at the latest odds with Coral. 18+, begambleaware.org, and please gamble responsibly.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for the fans this season. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Just had a message from Griff81089. Stop talking about the Mourinho documentary. You're spoiling it.
No, it's three hour ones.
Yeah,
isn't
we
it?
know how it ends.
But it will be. I'm telling you, you'll be absolutely hypnotised by it, because if you're anything with football and Jose, and we're talking about, we haven't got enough in these little sections to talk about half the stuff that's in there.
Yeah. Morning to Bradley. Hi, Shebahn and Tony. Can we get a shout out for the 1,000 Crawley Town fans who travelled to Watford yesterday to see League Two Crawley take Watford to the 99th minute and lose to a great strike? But what an atmosphere it was. Football is back. Live football is back here on talkSPORT. We're across everything. You're listening to the Weekend Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT in partnership with Volkswagen Transporter. Volkswagen's 5+ promise is included when you purchase a selected vehicle. Terms and conditions and exclusions apply. Coming up next, we're going to get into the MotoGP for you, and we'll discuss Tonda Eckhart from Southampton.
Look at Real Madrid. Go and look at... This is the point that I think Gabby was making this morning. I know that he was making it regarding trophies and what have you, but look at the brand value.
180 million.
There you go. Right. That's how big that football club is.
Right, that's a lot.
That's how big that is as a worldwide entity. 180 million, and you're talking about him coming to a club that has 32 million followers on Instagram. Again, these are very basic metrics. Very basic metrics. But Vinicius Junior is in a completely different stratosphere. All this talk about him coming to Arsenal throughout the whole course of the summer has just been manipulation from an agent trying to get the dude a few more quid. That's what it is. He was never in a million years going to be an Arsenal player this summer. That's what it is. It's just manipulating the market. Let's see if I can get some more money for my guy. Yeah. Why would he come to Arsenal?
I said that was the agent talk. Just using Arsenal as a
leverage,
a tool.
Yeah. Arsenal are interested. Oh, right, wicked, brilliant. Arsenal, champions of England. Right, well, let's use them. Yeah. Let's use them. Go back to the table with the Real Madrid lads. Forward. Yeah, he's coming out of contract. You know what I mean? He needs a few more zeros on this contract. Yeah. Okay, we're going to sign Yandy Mande. Let's put some pressure.
Good morning, it's the Weekend Sports Breakfast. You're listening to talkSPORT. It's Shebahn Aherne and former Millwall striker Tony Cascarino. Name the band.
Not sure.
Little Mix.
Oh, wouldn't
Little Mix, yeah. If you're watching on the smart TV, if not, you need to check this out on the YouTube channel right now. There's a clip that's trending this morning of a pre-match stunt going wrong in the Netherlands. Have a little look at this. What's supposed to be entertainment descended into chaos as a parachuter launched himself into an advertising board. Slick.
Ja.
Slick. Look at this.
Er staan.
Bosh.
Doelpunt.
It doesn't land. Oh, mate.
Lucky he's
Die kwam niet heel lekker terecht.
He's get up, he celebrates, the crowd go wild because he's not hurt, he's absolutely fine. Absolutely fine, but just a funny one of those pre-match things that goes a little bit wrong. Not as entertainment, more terrifying.
Yeah.
Have you ever done parachuting?
Yes. Done it. Yeah, I've done one. Obviously, the one you do in the sea, you go in the...
Paragliding?
Not the paragliding.
Sailing?
Parasailing, that's it. I did that once, yeah. And it was really sore on my thighs because the straps were so tight. I remember thinking, how painful is that? I remember
big
wanting...
thighs.
Yeah.
Big thighs.
I've got big thighs anyway, but as you can see.
I'm glad you said it. Here's what's coming up for you in talkSPORT today. All right, I've seen the guys out in the office warming up, 9 o'clock. It's the Sunday edition with Sean Custis and Henry Winter, going through all the stories, the supplements in the papers, everything you need to know. And then we warm up to live football today with Ollie Klink and Charlie Baker. 1 o'clock, the Sunday session, Sam Ellard and Perry Groves are here. 5 o'clock, Majestic and Alan Pardew with the final word. And of course, the Trans Euro Express with Andy Brassel is here later on this evening as well. If you want some action from the Carabao Cup first round, you can listen to Mansfield against Sheffield United at 4 o'clock over on talkSPORT 2. Keep it talkSPORT and you will not miss a thing. Now, Southampton survived early Colchester United pressure to book their spot in the second round of the Carabao Cup yesterday. It was the Saints' first competitive match since being expelled from the Championship playoffs at the end of last season. So after the game, Tonda Eckert, the Southampton manager, told talkSPORT his focus is on matters on the pitch and not off it.
I'm focused on preparing games. It's in the end, once you step on the pitch, there's not much thoughts going left and right. We just need to make sure that we prepare well for the games and for the season. And that takes more than enough of my brain.
So a win for them yesterday, Cass, 2-0 over Colchester. A decent enough performance. You pleased with what you saw from it?
Well, I didn't actually watch it. So, I mean, what am I meant to say? I didn't see the game.
Oh, okay.
I didn't see the game. All I do is saw the result, which they'd won 2-0 at Colchester.
I mean, in terms of the stories going along with Tonda Eckert,
yeah, which is the bigger story.
This charge is still hanging over him, kind of thing, and he's going to be consistently asked about that until it's all out there and it's all put to bed.
Yeah. Honestly, you have to expect that. What happened last year, and people go, okay, they've dealt with it, the club, and the club have been punished and move on. Yeah, to a degree, but the manager has to understand that questions will be raised, and when he's doing interviews, sometimes it's going to be a bit more tricky, and they are going to be the club that are going to get a lot of stick along the way for what happened last year. He's going to have to take it on the touchline as the game's going on, and people shouting at him. Now, I don't know what else you can do because, it's going to be a tricky journey. The club have done unbelievable to stand by him, probably because they think also, it's a bit like I touched on yesterday, the reason why they have, because they think he's a really good manager as well.
Yeah.
For what he changed at Southampton. And they're prepared to go, well, yeah, you've made a massive mistake. You've cost us 200 million quid, but we believe you can repay us back. By the end of the season, you'll be getting it for us, So they're obviously thinking they'll get promoted with him and they'll back him. So it's a situation that it's a combination of things. It ends up, this is what happens to you now, is that all season it's going to be a tricky interviews along the way and
until it's done and dusted. But even when it is, even when he is charged and know what the outcome's going to be, well, his image will always be tainted.
Of course, yeah, absolutely. Will be tainted.
So even if he's winning, it's going to be tainted.
I think you have to move on, but there will be a lot of people that will go, no, what he did was totally wrong, So I think you have to literally own it and just say yes. I mean, which he's done. He's sort of alluded to that, that he's Southampton manager. He's going to move on and produce a great team this season. I just think it comes with the territory of what's happened before.
Yeah. Reputation-wise? Do you think other managers look and go, you're a cheat?
Some might. And others will go, well, there's other examples of people who have got away with stuff. I mean, Bielsa, openly just took it on the chin, didn't he, when he was Leeds United manager?
Yeah.
He admitted it and sort of laughed, well, that's what we do.
If he owns it, if he owns it and cracks on, doesn't do it again and wins, it'll be fine. But you wonder how the fans are feeling about it.
I mean, the training ground spy thing, it's a thing that you obviously can't do, and they've done it. But there will be other things that go on in football. I guarantee you, there's just a bigger advantage as that. Where you're trying to get an edge, you're trying to win games. I could go down the road of with finances in football. Finance. It's a massive game winner for clubs.
Yeah.
And some clubs have a really raw deal.
There's a lot of negativity towards them from other fan bases because of what he did, right?
Yeah.
But can they use that to galvanise them?
Yeah, absolutely. It's got to be. Got to be that.
Yeah.
You've got to be that. I'll give you one quick example on this as well. Bernard Tapie, who was the Marseille owner, who had done quite a number of things that weren't right in French football, okay? And then he got questioned one day because he had a really good side as well. Everyone forgot that he had a really good side because he had a fantastic team that won the Champions League. And he got asked a question about some of the things that had gone on in Marseille. And he said, well, what about Monaco? And well, what about Monaco? And he said, well, they pay foreign players tax-free. No other French club can do that. And he had a really valid point. If we said today, Manchester United could sign foreign players and not pay any tax on their wages, everyone else would have been uproar. But this happened in French football with Monaco. They could pay foreign players tax-free. No other French club could do that. Now, these are sort of things I'm talking that have happened in football. So Move on.
Yeah.
We can all move on.
Yeah. Funnily enough, actually, just last mention on the Mourinho documentary. Last mention. It's out on Tuesday. But there is a moment when John Terry's speaking about when Josie arrived at Chelsea and he put on the team they were playing at the weekend's training tapes.
Yeah.
Well, how did you get that?
Exactly.
How does it, things go on.
Things happen and we won't have a clue about. But they are an advantage. Everybody's looking to an advantage, aren't they?
Yeah.
Small margins make big differences, in sport. So, yeah.
Better to ask for forgiveness than permission.
Yeah.
That's the sneaky
It's
one.
okay until you're caught.
Yeah. We'll wait for the result of the FA charge. It's due soon. You'll find out first here on talkSPORT. Moving on, there's a big race at Silverstone coming up today, the 2026 MotoGP British Grand Prix. We can look ahead to that now with TNT sports commentator Neil Hodgson. Good morning to you, Neil.
I'm going to agree. Small differences in motorcycle racing can make the difference between literally winning or finishing 10th. So yeah, it's the same across all sports, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, it's a massive factor. Whether we're talking tennis, MotoGP, football, all of these sports, these golf, all of these little margins make a huge difference.
Neil, you there?
Yeah.
Yep, I'm here.
Neil, talk to us about today, what you're looking ahead to, what can we expect?
Right, perfect day. Do you know, it doesn't get any better than this. You turn up at Silverstone, we've got a big crowd, good atmosphere, the weather's perfect, which is rare. Normally when we come to the British Grand Prix, we've been flooded off in years gone by, so everything is bang on set up. We've got a British rider on pole position for one of the lower classes. Scott Ogden's on pole position in the Moto 3 class, which is quite exciting. A young rider coming through the ranks, so that's worth watching. I think in MotoGP, the championship's really tight. We've got the top 5 riders covered by just 31 points. It's wide open. What a track as well, Silverstone is. One of the best we go to. It's a track where there's lots of passing opportunities. It's a really wide circuit, lots of fast corners. Got a long straight where the bikes reach 220 miles an hour. So it's got a little bit of everything. We really set up for a great day.
Neil, I've got to ask you this question because I find this amazing, really, because there's on my notes, it's 11 different winners of the Grand Prix hosted at Silverstone.
Yeah, and do you know what that means? So why is that?
Yeah.
When you come to Silverstone, it's one of those tracks. It's quite unique. Obviously, we come here once a year, but because of its nature, there's so many fast corners. It's who's feeling confident on the day. It's one of those tracks, right? Fortune favours the brave. Some of the tracks we go to, they're a little bit more sanitised now, a bit calm, quiet, simple, safe. You come to Silverstone, you've got corners like the famous Woodcut. You go through there at 170 miles an hour. And trust me, when you tip a MotoGP bike into a corner like that, on the side of the tyre, the rear stepping out, you're doing 170 miles an hour. It comes down to who's bravest. Yeah. So I love it when you come here. It's who's got the momentum, who's got the confidence, and that's why we always get great racing around here.
Yeah. So what do these bikes 170 mile an hour? Can they actually go up to 200?
They do 220 miles an hour down the straight here. I'm talking about when I say in a corner.
That scares me. That just scares me.
At 170 miles an hour, the rider's essentially led on the floor. His knee, his elbow is on the ground. And not only at that point, the bike's moving, it's sliding. It takes so much skill, strength, a lot of core strength when you're fighting the bike. So do you know what's funny? When you sit at home and you watch a MotoGP rider racing, going around a track, it looks sort of effortless. It looks quite graceful.
Yeah.
Trust me, it is anything but that. It's a fight. And you have to be fit, strong, confident, brave, all of the above, honestly. It's superb.
You wouldn't want to get the yips in that sport, would you?
No, it's not like golf. You get the yips in golf and you miss a 3-foot putt. If you get your yips here, you're going to casualty.
Absolutely. I mean, it's so incredibly dangerous as well, and at that speed. I mean, Cal Crutchlow was in the papers yesterday saying how he always in his mind think, I can still do this, and then when he's doing it, it's just aches and pains. It does feel like it's the young person's sport.
It is. I mean, we are fortunate to have Cal come back. He retired 3 years ago and got the call up to replace an injured rider, and Cal's 40 years old now, but honestly, Cal has lost none of his heart, none of his skill or talent. But I'm sure there's that little angel on his shoulder going, You're 40 years old, mate. You don't need to do this anymore. So you're so right. It's a young person's sport. I think you sort of peak at about 27, I'd say 27, 28, where you've got the maturity sort of matches your bravery.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Look, I've always wanted to do something. It sounds a bit daft what I'm going to say to you, Neil, but I've always wanted to do a bit of a story on dreams, sportsman's dreams, because I've had dreams about people I've never met in sport and played against, and also being a bike rider or something, all different sports and I remember reading an article on a swimmer that used to have dreams about swimming and their nightmare of not turning right and just, when they're underwater. And I think, well, what sort of dreams would a bike rider have?
Oh, God,
I'll tell you. Honestly, get ready for this. It's a horrible dream. Everyone has it, and it's a high side. That's when the rear of the bike steps out and it grips and it throws you into the air. So you'll be in a lovely deep sleep, then all of a sudden you get the sensation of a high side. Every rider experiences it. And normally it's the night before the race. That happens 3 or 4 times, and it is awful. It awakes you from a deep sleep, and it's like you've been shocked. Honestly, it's awful.
Do you wake up on the floor? Do you genuinely flip out the bed?
It's not been that far. It's not been that exaggerated, but it's not a nice experience. But every professional rider I've spoken to had the same dream.
I've had that conversation with other sports people in different sports out there, whether it's tennis, football, and these scenarios.
Yeah.
Runners who have spoke about scenarios with their dreams.
I have the dream where I can't talk on air. And it's actually not a dream, it's reality.
That makes sense, though. Yeah, because it's your worst fear, isn't it?
Yeah. Can't get a word out. You know what I mean with being a commentator as well now. Listen, good to have you today, Neil. Good luck.
Cheers, Neil.
We look forward to hearing the latest, okay? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All
Bye.
the best. That's 2-time World Superbike champion and TNT commentator in MotoGP, Neil Hodgson. Oh, a weird dream, my dreams.
No, but honestly, I dreamt the other day, and I have met him, but a dream about David Moyes. No, couldn't make head or tail of it when I woke up. Why David Moyes?
Sorry, what was the context of it?
The context, I was sitting in his office, chatting to him, and then talking about playing against him when he was at Dunfermline, and we're chatting away, and I woke up and I had why was I?
What was the reason?
Why did I actually talk about David Moyes?
It's all linked.
I have a dream about David Moyes.
I'm weird with dreams. I love to investigate them all.
There's something feels a little bit.
But that dream as a sports person going into a competition is now wondering.
I've had that in football.
Am I prepared? So it's like the element of
Shebahn, just a quick one on this one. The dream I have the most familiar dream to me is me having a 1-on-1 when I was playing for Gillingham against Everton. I've had that dream more than any other dream.
That's a shame.
I've never scored in that dream.
Yeah,
I've always missed, which happened on the night as well.
Oh my God. It's a nightmare, really.
I've been in that 1-on-1.
Well, that was random. Time to wake up, everybody. It is 10 to 9 nearly. Remember, you can watch MotoGP on TNT Sports and you can hear the race live on talkSPORT 2. It's at 1:45 this afternoon over on talkSPORT 2. It's the Weekend Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT in partnership with Volkswagen Transporter. Get complete peace of mind when Volkswagen's 5+ promise. Terms and conditions and exclusions apply. Don't forget, coming up at 9, Sean Custis and Henry Winter are here. That's a good dream with the Sunday edition.
Chris, what about Man U? I fancy United have a much better season. I think Michael deserves this job, and I do think they're going to be up there. I think they're going to push. I think they're going to be strong.
No, I do. I think I'm so happy to see Carragher's just thriving. I think, obviously, having played with him, you know what kind of character he is. He's that composed and he's intelligent, and he's obviously bringing that into one of the biggest jobs in world football. And I think the run they obviously had at the end of last season, obviously in 2026, I think they were like #1 in points taken. So for him to be able to have a full pre-season, bring in whoever he likes in terms of players and just have that belief, I think there's no one better steering that ship really. And no, I'm excited to see what the season brings for them.
I think it's going to be an interesting season, Chris, all round, because so many new managers. You don't know what to expect. Liverpool, Chelsea, Spurs have spent big money as well. Whether they can try and get into that top four, and obviously the only one with a little bit of stability is probably Arsenal. But it's always hard to retain that title, isn't it?
100%. I think everyone's going to be hungrier than ever, and
Good morning, you're listening to the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Sunday the 9th of August. Live football coming up today over on talkSPORT 2. The first round of the Carabao Cup, just one game today. It was 29 yesterday. Today is Mansfield against Sheffield United. All of the updates coming for you here on talkSPORT. But the commentary is live over on talkSPORT 2. Also Scottish football on the go today as well. We'll keep you posted on that and those results here on talkSPORT as the day goes on. You feel better now getting all that dream chat out your system?
No, it was funny because I like talking about stuff that you don't really get an opportunity to talk about.
So random.
Yeah.
So random. Some of your headlines this morning. Russell Martin made a winning start as Leicester City head coach as the Foxes beat Northampton 1-0 in the Carabao Cup at the King Power Stadium. Here, bit of pressure on Russell Martin, isn't there?
It will be because they'll be favourites in League One to go up. Yeah. They'll have a decent budget, Shebahn, and so lots of pressure on him. Yeah, good luck to him. In other news, Callum Simpson got his revenge, winning back his British super middleweight title from Troy Williamson by unanimous decision. Tony Cascarino expects them to be going again. And also Manchester United played out a 1-1 draw against PSG in a pre-season training game in Gothenburg, Sweden. Former United defender Chris Smalling told talkSPORT Breakfast earlier this week he's excited for Manchester United's season ahead.
I think I'm so happy to see Carra's just thriving. I think, obviously, having played with him, you know what kind of character he is. He's that composed and he's intelligent, and he's obviously bringing that into one of the biggest jobs in world football. And I think the run they obviously had at the end of last season, obviously in 2026, I think they were like number one in points taken. So for him to be able to have a full pre-season, bring in whoever he likes in terms of players and just have that belief, I think there's no one better kind of, steering that ship really. And no, I'm excited to see what the season brings for them.
I'm excited to see if there's going to be another signing before the window closes.
There will be, Shebahn.
There has to be.
Yeah, of course there is. It's the final weeks of the transfer season, and Manchester United, I'm sure, will be well poised to jump on one or two transfers. They're going to do it. There'll be a number of clubs that will, because we had a slow start, really, didn't we, after the World Cup with transfers? We spoke yesterday about the players in any team and your team that have to step up, and we touched on Mason Mount, and then the news came out last night that he's been injured. What a nightmare! What a shame for him. You know, we were saying. Is it what type of injury is it? Don't know the full details of it, but an injury blow. No, I mean, he's been plagued by injury, so sympathy with him, and it's a big thing now. Coaches or recruitment teams look at players who are durable and play a lot of football. If it's look, there's some injuries: broken leg, ACL, Achilles tendon. They're you can't avoid them when they happen. Yeah. But muscle, if you're getting a tweak with a calf or a tweak with a hamstring, then it becomes an issue if you're missing too much games. Okay, it's time now for this. Show me, you got to show me. You tell me all day that you know me. Well, show me tonight, yeah. Time for Show Me talkSPORT, where we look back at some of the best bits from the legendary talkSPORT across the week. By the way, the figures went up again, didn't they? 3.7 million people listening to talkSPORT in a week. Right. Yeah, and a lot of that is down to talkSPORT Breakfast and the return of Big Alan Brazil, wee Alan Brazil, as he's now been called. And he and Rupert Bell picked up right where they left off.
How's that hedge you've just climbed out of? A little bit dishevelled, I have to say, Rupert.
Well, no, just because I've got something to be dishevelled with. I mean, you may have lost a few pounds over the last 6 or 7 months or so, but what hasn't happened is you haven't grown any hair. I've still got mine, so I feel pretty good.
Rupert, I can replace that with a bit of cash. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Trip to Turkey. You're going to put a syrup on?
No. A little bit of the old new technology, easy peasy.
Yeah, I'll join you, mate.
Yeah.
What, are you offering to go and have a hair transplant to Turkey?
I didn't say Turkey. The Harley Street is very, very good. Don't worry about that.
Oh, the friendly banter just continues with poor Rupert. I think he just got out of his sick bed as well.
Yeah, to be fair, Rupert just did look like he'd just run through a bush.
Iron the shirt next time, Rupert.
Yeah.
For the love of God, he's going to go for you if not. talkSPORT Breakfast back tomorrow, of course, 6 o'clock in the morning. You've got Jeff Stelling and your buddy Andy Townsend on talkSPORT Breakfast tomorrow. Then Alan Brazil is back with you on Wednesday. On to the Sports Bar now. Majestic and Carlton Cole discuss some of the funniest nicknames they've ever heard.
I used to go to school with someone called Wayne Bruce. His nickname was Manbats.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh.
This is
Manbats, you know.
This is brilliant, right?
Leave that one alone.
This is from Paul. He said Majestic bloke at work's nickname is Sniper's Nightmare on the account that he's having one leg shorter than the other.
Oh, mate.
Imagine it, he's just walking along. Sniper's Nightmare.
That's me. I walk with a little bit of a bowl. You know what I mean?
Oh, Sniper's Nightmare seems to be quite a popular figure on the textures tonight.
Sniper's Nightmare.
This is brilliant. Who else we got at school?
Keep it PG. Keep it PG.
One of the new lads at work has been named C-section because he's always avoiding labour.
Oh my gosh.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I like that one. We can't make fun of the women who've had the C-sections, though. I'll defend you. Okay, we're not too posh to push. Okay? Right. Don't forget the guys are back with you very, very soon. Majestic back tonight alongside Alan Pardew on the final words.
And good listen, that.
I've listened to it a lot. Show. It's a good wee show for a Sunday night. On to the Sports Bar. The Sports Bar, back with Jason Cundy tomorrow night. And that was a little bit of Show Me talkSPORT. Any good nicknames you got growing up, Cass?
No, the one that used to make me laugh when I was at the football clubs is if someone came in, a new player, and they were very chirpy and very, buzzy, and they get nicknamed Snow. Nicknamed Snow because they settled so quick.
Oh, that's quite a nice one there.
That was always a funny one.
Yeah, probably.
But, when someone comes in, they walk through the door and they're full of it, and you think, oh, they've settled quickly. Snow.
Yeah, happy as Larry. Just looking at the back pages for you this morning. Obviously, Sean and Henry are here with you very, very soon. But a lot of pictures of Bruno Guimaraes, who looked like he was just delighted to get his Arsenal move. A lot of it has been AI pictures, but now that it's done, the photographers had a great day with them, sitting on top of the football, different poses.
That's a good thing for footballers, isn't it? The AI pictures, then you don't have to stand there because before the season started, you'd have to do the photos, and it took forever getting the right photo. Players would get, and then there would be how many they take, and then how many do you need, really, to do in a photo shoot for the team photo of the season.
Yeah, they want more.
If it's AI, it's brilliant.
Give me happy, give me angry, give me sad, give me dangerous, give me cheeky, give me naughty, give me cute. Oh, get out my face with your camera. That was like Bielsa at the World Cup. He just put his head down, didn't he? And he went, I'm not a model. That's one way to do it. No one's going to argue with him there.
He was funny. He was hilarious.
He really was.
He could have easily, and for Tom with Leeds fan here, he could have easily been in.
A lot of people call for Bielsa to be on the list of the best manager personalities. It's been a lovely show today, Cass. Have a good week. I'll see you next Saturday from 6 o'clock. Don't forget live football today. Mansfield versus Sheffield United is over on talkSPORT 2 from 4 o'clock with the first round of the Carabao Cup. And next weekend, the EFL returns. We'll have the previews and look ahead to all the games for you in the show next weekend. Coming up next, it's the Sunday edition. Have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.
You're digging for gold, you're blowing away a fortune and feelings, but someday you'll pay.
Hussein, good morning.
Good morning, Shebahn. Oh, Akbar Lahore. You're making me boil right now. I can't stand you, mate.
Oh.
You know, what have you won? What have you actually won, Gabby? You've not won nothing.
Yeah.
All you keep doing is just criticize Arsenal. What have you actually won?
Nothing, mate.
You know, it's actually funny that I used to like you as a striker.